What is up, everybody? Good morning. I hope your day is off to a smashing start. We're going to be talking about Tariff Madness today, playing a game of Hinge, which is my new favorite TV show, Drew. Thank you for introducing me to the aggressive tapping of that pencil. I hope you guys enjoyed that on the weight screen. Oh, boy. That is utterly fascinating to me. It's very interesting. But I think the day is going to be about the Liberation Day, Drew. This is a whole thing. Also, I don't know if you saw, I'm at the very beginning of my research onto this, but it seems like, and I don't know, was it a bill? I don't even know. But Congress voted against Trump being able to tax Canada. So I don't know if that was specifically saying that tariffs are a tax. But if they're able to categorize tariffs as a tax, I think that this is going to throw a monkey wrench into Trump's ability to do tariffs. So we'll see. But I think that's something that we're going to have to look into more as well. But certainly watched all of Trump's thing yesterday. And the part of it that people aren't talking a lot about that I find very interesting is the idea of trade barriers. Mm-hmm. So it isn't that, oh, he showed the chart, here's the tariffs that they have on us. It isn't just tariffs. It's tariffs plus a unknown calculation of trade barriers. And then he was, in many cases, doing half of that. So what he was calling kind reciprocal tariffs. Mm-hmm. So I think that there's a lot to wade through on what this is actually going to be in practice, whether he's going to be able to pursue that. And watching all of this play out while reading about Hamilton is absolutely fascinating in terms of, as the framers of the Constitution were building this thing out and getting everybody on board, what they had in mind. Mm-hmm. Is very interesting. It's very interesting. And there was so much debate even back then about, people were super skeptical that what Hamilton was secretly trying to do was create sort of monarchy light. And so given all the debates with the recent Supreme Court ruling that people say essentially makes the president like a king, very interesting. Yeah. Very interesting.
The side-by-side chart is what jumped out to me, because a lot of the things that he was imposing on other countries, to your point, was half. But then I was seeing some things. Some people have 89% tariffs on our stuff.
That's the thing. It isn't tariffs. So it's not tariffs alone. It's tariffs plus trade barriers. Mm. And so this is one where I would like to see your calculation. Mm. I think that's going to be pretty important. But Canada has already come out publicly and said, if America removes their tariffs, we would remove ours in a heartbeat. So it'll be interesting to see what impact this has. But if Congress is essentially making it impossible for him to do this. And in fact, chat, if anybody can point us in the right direction on that, don't forget about soaking. I want to know the context on that. We need more information on that, because that is one that I think is going to have, if Trump is really trying to reset the economy, but Congress makes it impossible for him to impose these tariffs without going through congressional approval, mm-hmm. It's going to break down. Then obviously the other countries are just going to be like, he's not going to be able to get this through his own government, and so whatever, we're just going to ignore him.
It's just crazy too, because there's reports that Canada is cutting their tariffs in order they'll go.
Technically, what he said was we would cut the tariffs in a heartbeat. He doesn't say heartbeat, but instantly, in minutes, whatever the exact phrase was, if America removes them. So,
but Vietnam is also saying the same thing now. So
same with Israel. There's a bunch of places that are making the right mouth noises. However, Canada is saying that basically America has to do it first. So anyway, this will be the back and forth negotiation, but it will all be made toothless if Trump does not have the ability to do this, because Congress is able to label these attacks.
It's kind of like, and this is very personal because I'm going through this now, like you're going to a car dealership and you're like, hey, I'm ready to buy this new car. The guy's like, okay, I'll give you this deal. You haggle to a price. And then somebody tells the other guy, oh, is it his account's just been frozen or something like that. And now in mid-deal, the financial situation changes. So now the guy's leaning back, like Congress.
Has your account been frozen?
No, I'm just saying, like, I'm like trying to car shop right now. And it's crazy. I could get a really good deal. I'm comparing that to Trump getting a good deal with like Vietnam saying, okay, 46%, we're not doing that. We'll cut it.
Right.
Canada saying we'll cut it. Israel saying we'll cut it. And then Congress doing this. So now they're like, well, don't write it down yet. Congress not. You know what I mean? So it's like all the negotiation tactics that we have seen Trump do. I do something really big and bombastic. People react. Then they meet me halfway. And then although I didn't get the 100%, I got a 30% discount.
Mm-hmm.
But now with Congress already stepping on it, that 30% discount is like, oh, well, you don't need to do that no more. Like they kind of chop them off before you can even get started a little bit. So I understand the partisan of it. I understand he's a Nazi and everybody hates him, but I feel like he's cooking. You know what I mean? Like he was actually, people were starting to believe the hype. And I feel like Congress kind of takes if Congress really comes out and says we're going to stop him from doing tariffs, I think all the progress on tariffs are moot, and this last 100 days doesn't really mean anything.
I agree with you. I know where you're coming from. Yeah. Let me give you an alternate read on that, because I don't think that's what's happening right now. What's happening right now is same as it ever was. There are teams in politics. Humans are fucking petty, and they get a bee in their bonnet about something, and they're going to fight and squabble, partly because they really do just have different worldviews. So let me not make it all about being petty. But the political game is so ugly and so messy, and that we're just watching the latest iteration of that play out. People were going to try to stop Trump from the jump. We're in this really fascinating moment where the battles are being played out at the level of executive orders. Like presidents are coming in and saying, okay, I'm trying to get around all this gridlock. And at some point, executive orders became the way that they did it. And so it's creating this crazy whiplash. Anyway, my core thesis is that political battles are always going to be like this. It's always going to be a fight. It's always going to be people trying to stop you from getting your thing, because it's the exact opposite of the thing that they want. So this was never going to be straightforward, let them cook, let them try. That's just not the political game. The political game is, can I jam something in your spokes really fast and cause you to eat shit so my political party can stand back and say, ha ha ha, you're a fucking idiot, and we want to get back into power. That's why I think the highest predictive validity is to understand the James Burnham idea of people will basically do anything to get into power and then maintain that power. And I hate that that's the thing that has the highest predictive validity, but that's the thing that has the highest predictive validity.
As you're doing your Hamilton deep dive, did you see those those seeds of pettiness even 100%. Back then? Sheesh.
Yeah, so like they were saying, the author of the book makes a really good point. He's like, history remembers these guys with reverence, but in the middle of it, they're calling each other names, or like Hamilton's being accused of adultery, and like, which from what I can tell was just true. Yeah, so it was just as ugly and messy back then, and history gives you heroes that you can look up to. But as you will remind us, Washington was a slaveholder. So it's like, you really, humans are messy, flawed creatures, always have been. And until we augment ourselves with AI, always will be. So this is a political game. But the thing that I never want to fool myself by telling myself a narrative about what's happening that is so grotesquely oversimplified that I miss the truth of what's going on. But as I step back and I think more about, there's two things right now that occupy my thinking in an obsessive way. The US and China are locked in a Cold War born of globalization at a time where AI is going to terraform humanity. And I'm like, yo, this is a psychotically disruptive moment in history that is so precarious because of Thucydides' trap. And if we don't try to reboot American manufacturing, we are accepting defeat. And so every time this comes up, I'm like, okay, I understand if you don't like Trump. He is a flamboyant character. Like, he just gives you so many things to hate. But I'm like, guys, what are the base assumptions that everything that you're doing are riding on. All right, I'm going to let that
you
hang there pregnantly. I don't feel that we have sufficiently greeted chat. Chat, hello. It's wonderful to see you all. Thank you guys for being here. I have my chat set up and it's scrolling by, and just am very grateful that you guys show up and play this game with us. So good morning. Good morning. Esoteric Dichotomy, you were commenting before we even went live. I was like, wait, how do you comment on a feed that hasn't gone live yet? And I was assured it is possible. Ivar's, yes, pregnantly, indeed. Okay, Ricardo, tell me what I just said that's contradictory. I'm here for that. You feel complete now. Scorpio Pulse, not sure why, but hello.
Because you're saying hi to them.
Oh, well, lovely. Merry day after Liberation Day, technically, DevZ. How long to wait before buying Snap today? I don't know what that means. Also, I've been instructed not to read these things out loud. I have to read them silently in my head first. I can get myself in trouble.
As you read it out loud.
I know.
Well, good morning. How are you, Eunice?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good.
It's early. Okay.
What time do you wake up? Like, if you didn't set an alarm, what time would Drew open his eyes?
6:30.
I was gonna say right now.
What time do you go to bed?
When I can.
That man has no sleep schedule.
What do you mean when you can?
When I can.
What keeps you up?
Life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness.
There we go. Okay. Okay. That's called deflecting, boys and girls. Interesting. Well, it is early. There's no doubt about that.
Gamer too.
Yes, I don't turn on a game, but I haven't even been gaming.
Fake.
So,
Fake.
Yeah, I know.
Fake
I want to
news.
play the new Assassin's Creed. I'm excited about that.
As the samurai?
Yeah. I haven't played one in forever. The last one I played, it was the Coliseum one. That was like 2 or something like that.
Coliseum one. I don't even know. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Drew is kept up by revenge bedtime procrastination. Lisa went hard in the paint on that whole idea for a while.
Yeah, people like that's like a
SW
thing.
Sin.
I have no problem going to sleep. I can sleep anywhere at any time. I can go around there and catch a quick 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I am overly stretched out. The
What is-
play's in 2 weeks, so rehearsals have started.
Oh,
So,
that's right.
yeah. So it's just rehearsals.
Drew
for
is
that.
doing. Are we allowed to talk about it?
Yeah.
You just brought it up.
Yeah.
So doing an Easter. I keep calling it an opera, but an Easter musical.
It makes it seem more epic when you call it an opera,
Right?
so I appreciate that.
So
I appreciate that.
I'm here
Yeah.
for that. I want to hear all about it.
Yeah, it's going good. I was in Phoenix with my daughter last week, so this is my first week of actually being in rehearsals. So now I'm like, oh, okay, things are picking up. I'm not directing this time. I just wrote it. I'm kind of helping give stage direction here and there and stuff like that.
Just wrote it, especially when we're talking a musical. That sounds like a lot. Did you do the music?
Yeah.
Damn.
I have a buddy who produces, and one of the actors, super talented musician. I was stuck on one song. He was like, yo, just come over. We could talk about it out loud. We ended up doing 3 songs in 3 hours. That guy's a
Whoa.
monster. Shout out to Chris. He's so good.
Shout out Bruce.
Yeah. So the music I structured. I have a friend who produces all of it. I wrote like 80% of the songs, but he wrote like a lion's share of it. Like literally, Lynn called me. I went in the other room, came back. He was like, "Yeah, I got the first verse done," and it was a banger. And it was like one take. Like it was so good. It was so
Wow. All right. Well, very impressive.
Yeah, Wave Rider T. R.I.P. Val Kilmer. Favorite Val Kilmer movie
Ever?
We did the same thing.
That was stalling. Of course, ever. No, Tom, from October of 1986. God. I'm going to go with Real Genius, but that's probably not true. But just because I don't have his... Oh, because he was in Heat. Heat was certainly better than Real Genius, but he wasn't really the central there. Heat's probably the best movie he was in. Real Genius was the first one that came to mind. So take that for what it's worth. Tombstone, also great. In fact, his performance as Doc Holliday was unbelievable. How did he come up, of all people? What just happened?
He died.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Fuck. But he was really battling cancer. So, not the what?
It's like, oh no.
Yeah.
Took down a roller coaster? Yeah.
The range of motion right there.
How did he come up? He died. Oh no.
Yeah, that's sad. That's sad. Especially he went out hard. Like the fact
the
that they
last
had
couple
to
years,
make
he
his
was-
voice an AI for Top Gun. That means he struggled for years.
Yeah, he wasn't doing.
He wasn't that old either.
65.
I was gonna say I don't even think he was 70. Damn.
Sheesh.
Damn.
Hearing how old
That's
he was,
rough.
I was kind of like, I don't like that.
That he was young, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very young.
That's
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah, like was it
Yeah.
Gene
Scary.
Hackman was the last one?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that was sad, but he was like 93, so it was
Have
like
we
all
found
right.
out like what happened?
Oh, we were supposed to go over it that day. We never
Like,
did.
He
So apparently
filthy.
he was in the Bible. He was I see he was in the Bible. He was in the house by
he's not
himself.
that old, Drew. Damn.
He was in the house by himself for like a week, and then his wife ended up killing herself. Like it was weird.
Oh, what's happening?
It was weird.
So she walks in and found he's dead, and
He
was like, "I'm out."
Anybody in the chat, have y'all followed this story? I had it in one of the. I have to dig it
that's
up
the kind
again.
of shit Lisa would do. I don't like that. That's bad. Yeah, she's got a whole thing. We got to die together. Like she's like
Straight
for
Romeo
real,
and
for real.
Juliet.
Yes. Like if I die under suspicious circumstances, beeline to Lisa. I will tell you right now. I'm like, okay, the apocalypse happens and I die. What do you do? And she's like, well, 100%. I want to go out with you.
That's
Nope,
so,
hard pass. That's
Romeo
crazy.
and Juliet
It's crazy.
is a real love story.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That remind me of another
Is it?
question though. Are you part of the zombie apocalypse? And I'm talking about like Walking Dead zombie apocalypse. Like,
Do I want to survive?
yeah,
Of course.
yeah.
And it is so weird to me that some people are like, nah, I'd just rather die. What? Huh? I don't understand. Even if I just have to see it for a minute.
Yeah. I just have to
course.
see it for a minute. Like I'm talking grocery stores are
Like
closed.
if the zombies come and
the
eat
grid,
me,
the grid is done.
better
Like,
that than to not have gotten to see. I
become a zombie
actually
forever.
cannot wrap my head around how people are. Listen, emotional pain is real. I understand that fully. And I have felt things that hurt so badly that you're like, I need this to be over. But wanting to die because you don't want to face the loss of those you love, I don't understand, man. Obviously, I could steel man it, but it does not compute in my brain. So
yeah.
the glowing orb in my mind is this too shall pass. And yes, the heartache will pass. I would want a shot. As long as I can kill myself at my leisure, then I want to be alive. But the only question I will reject is if somebody said you were the only person remaining, but you couldn't die ever, would you take that bet? Like you can live forever, but you could find yourself in a situation where everyone is dead, you've fallen down a well, and now you're just stuck and you're going to live like that forever. No, I wouldn't take that. That understanding what I understand about the human psyche and how it breaks in isolation, no. But
I could never kill myself. So that's why it's like I would have to either get killed or be a zombie, or kill other people. And I think I would have to violate too many of my own personal morals to survive in that environment. So now,
you'd rather just, I don't want to
I'm not saying I would rather like die, but I wouldn't be mad at it.
Isn't that exactly what you're saying? Like the
different
very
though?
question
You
is,
have
would you
Lynn.
rather die or?
Because that's the thing. It's like, that would suck for her.
That's what I'm saying.
Who's-
But wouldn't you be
You're
like,
talking about Lynn?
I'm gonna do everything I can to protect my daughter. So with
Yes.
that, you'd have to like violate
Yes.
some.
Oh,
You
dang,
know what
I didn't
I
even think
know.
about her. Oh, that would suck for her.
But
I was
it's your
thinking like
baby
right now in this
girl.
moment. Oh, that would suck for her.
Yeah.
She doesn't even like. We had like water. Our water heater went out like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and she was like, "I can't take a shower." What do you mean? Like she
You're
she
like,
would,
uh-oh,
she would go crazy.
real life is coming for you.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I was like, "Let's go camping." Ew, like outside. Like why? She wouldn't survive. Oh, that would be so bad. Okay, what would you do? Would you?
I would be.
Chat,
I
what
feel
would
like
you
I would
do?
be pushed so hard to help my family survive. That I'd
Let's
be
go. Wait, are you gonna strap
Yes.
up and become like
Yes.
the most
Rambo,
gangster?
Yes, with a bandana.
Oh,
She already has the
I am
bookies in the
turning
chat.
this
I
into
got
a
my
fucking
bookies
story.
out all day, every day. You think I'm not
Let's
free?
go. Mild manner. Dude, your character has the bunny ears in the outfit, but that's the outfit that you
Yeah.
go down in. And so now
Yes.
for the rest of the
And then
fucking
just blood
series,
stains on the-
you are like
Oh.
gangstered out with the bunny ears. Oh man, I'm working on this weekend.
Yeah, I
Come
like
on,
that.
chat, let's go.
I like that.
That's
Who's
amazing.
Maggie? I've never seen Walking Dead. Or
No,
anything like
Gene's
this.
wife died first. Gene, severe
Oh.
dementia, then died of heart attack. Dog died because he starved in crate. Oh, I hate everything about that. Dog crated because just got back from vet when wifey died. Gene had no idea dog was in crate. Oh, fuck.
Oh my gosh.
That is so dark.
Jeez.
Gary, we asked, but I'm not sure that I'm glad you delivered. Everything
Thank
about
you for
that is
though.
horrible.
Yeah, I knew it was something weird.
That is a
Thank you.
chain
And
of
in all
events
caps.
that I hate
Thank you, Gary.
aggressively. Yikes.
Going full Mad Max. Mad Max isn't bad.
I haven't seen that either. I'm sorry.
Eunice is totally Maggie.
That's what I'm saying.
I hear that.
Z Nation was good.
Eunice going full Mad Max, indeed.
Okay.
Good morning,
all right.
Cameron Fry. Okay, so back to the pregnant pause here. Okay,
can we pull that Liberation Day? So we actually have the tariffs up. If you can zoom in a little bit, it's a little slow on our side. So these are the actual list of tariffs and just some of the countries that popped out. Of course, China 67% on us. We're returning it with 34. The Vietnam 90 to 46 was crazy to me. That's what jumped out to me. Like, sheesh. We did go to war with them, so I get it. Thailand 72. I like Thai food. That's messed up, yo. Bangladesh 74%. So some of these tariffs did jump out to me. They startled me. This is my first time seeing it all in one place.
I just want to keep beating the drum. These are not tariffs. This is tariffs plus trade barriers. And how many sins are hiding in trade barriers? That's what we need to figure out. Like, is this spin and I'm being told a bullshit story? Or is this like, no, this currency manipulation, they are doing this knowingly and they are doing it to make things harder on us? That is entirely possible. But it's just so easy to make this stuff look and feel emotionally right, but then as you dig under the surface, you're like, wait, hold on a second. So this is why I say I think the right level of analysis here is to say, what is this moment? Here are the base assumptions that I'm building my worldview on. Now, I don't have a strong, I'm not like, oh, this is definitely going to work. Where I'm at is, given the following assumptions, you have to do something. Mm-hmm. And so, same as it ever was, gives you a trend line that is moving in the wrong direction for the American economy, full stop, but clearly middle-class workers just getting absolutely eviscerated. Let me give you the base assumptions again. So base assumption number one, China has become a pure competitor to the US economically because of globalism. Okay, so the very thing that people are like, you can't stop doing that. That has turned China into a pure competitor that now, whether you think they will or not, they can choke you out. So you're in a Cold War with a country that you may find yourself in a kinetic war due to Thucydides' trap, which is the new drinking game that's going to give you alcohol poisoning. And they can choke you out from a manufacturing standpoint. Mm-hmm. Base assumption, you can't be in that position. Hard stop, you can't fucking do it. So, hey, motherfuckers, wake up, stop acting like this is okay. This is not okay.
We need to do something different.
This is, if you're just like, hey, everything's fine. You are so violently ignorant of history that I'm like, what's happening? You cannot be in a position, as evidenced by what happened during COVID, you cannot be in a position where another country who is your greatest adversary can choke you out from a manufacturing standpoint. That's so crazy. Hey, guess what industry is like the most locked in China? Drones. Guess what modern warfare is based on? Drones. So the one country that you could conceivably see yourself in a kinetic war with is the country that can control your military armament. That's fucking absurd. Okay, so if we know we can't do that, then we have to ask the question, how do we incentivize manufacturing to be friend-shored, onshored? I'm not saying that what Trump is doing is right. I think what Trump is doing is ultra high risk, move fast, break things, all of that. Game of chicken, don't know. I would prefer to have a more, stable is the word. It's not quite right, but that's close enough. President. However, I do worry that you need somebody that can move the Overton window, that can move fast enough that you can actually get something done. Because bureaucracies, if you want a contradiction, here's one for you. Bureaucracies stop you from moving too fast and breaking things. Just on balance, probably good. But in moments like this, where you're like, fuck, we have to do something. Do you need the wrecking ball person to come in and get this all going? Probably. Okay, so you're in a position where you have to do something for two reasons. You can be choked out now by your biggest adversary, and you've hollowed out the middle class. If you hollowing out the middle class to its natural conclusion, it is revolution. So speaking of things that the framers of the Constitution understood, guess what Alexander Hamilton said is the thing most likely to lead to revolutionary violence? One word, Drew. One word. If you get this right, I'm going to be so happy.
Inflation?
Oh, you're so close.
Dang it.
Debt.
Oh.
Now, the reason debt is so bad is because of things like inflation, which you have to do in order to deal with it. So Hamilton was like, you can't just let debt get out of control. Guess what we're doing? So you're hollowing out the middle class. You're putting yourself in a very fragile internal position at a time where AI is going to fuck you up. It is a meteorite screaming towards Earth. All the while, Thucydides' trap is set. Like, this is so precarious. And so people are like, what, do nothing? So that's the only thing where I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Now, if anybody's really paying attention, they're going to pull a clip of me saying that's violently ignorant of history. And they're going to say, well, Tom, look at what's happened in the past when you've tried to do tariffs like this. There's an economist that I am just discovering. He was on The Daily Show. It was awesome. Oren Cass, I believe is his name. And he's basically saying you've got to look at the trend lines of this stuff. And the trend lines for globalism, for sure, has been, while incredible GDP globally, it's been bad for the US. Which, honestly, I'm surprised that that wasn't something that people could see what happened. And I'm so blind to the future that I should not throw shade on people in the past who are blind to the future. But yes, that seems an inevitable outcome if you're going to put yourself in a position where the way that you make money is essentially software and finance. It's just high risk. Okay. Chat, I would assume, were you about to say something? Because I want to know what chat
I was about to say something as well.
Let's go.
And it is that we have a super chat from Lyrith. Lyrith says, just got here. Not missing
Our favorite
this.
super chatter.
Catch me up. Also, not even matching their rates out of generosity. Only charging half what they do. And still, the globalists and left is screaming and complaining.
Chat, do you want to tell them?
Would be matching. We not even that.
Yeah. So, Lyrith, the part that I think that you're missing, and look, it could still end up being right. I just want to put on the table, there is an unknown variable in these numbers, and that variable is however Lutnick is calculating trade barriers. So trade barriers could be hiding a lot of sins. It could be hiding a lot of fuckery. And so I just remember, as a community, I'm really trying to put us all on the we're not team players. We are very much trying to figure out what has high predictive validity, because you can actually do things in the real world. And so if we can actually understand this stuff better, then we can get to a solution that actually works. It may not be the one that feels the most exciting because it's our team dunking on the other team, but is real and actually manifests in the real world the things that we want to manifest. So what are we trying to achieve? And then are these things going to take us there? It is possible that the countries all feel like they're being drugged through the press. Like, take Vietnam. If that 90%, if they're looking at it and they're like, what are you talking about? Like, yes, we have like some industries where we just really have to protect our own country. And so we have higher tariffs there, but 90%, we're not anywhere near 90%. What the fuck are you talking about? You're calling it trade barriers. And to them, it's like, whoa. Like, if they disagree and they're like, this is chicanery on the part of the US, it's going to make them feel some kind of way. I believe I'm not, I need to find a word for this. The more transparency we can get without putting a stick in our own spokes, I think the better. We should have a default position to want the government to say, hey, here's exactly how we're coming up with the math. If we can put it on a chart, there better be underlying mathematics here. And we're just going to show you all. And we know that the vast majority of humanity won't even be aware that this is all happening, which is crazy, but true. And then beyond that, we know that the people that are aware are only going to be aware of the high level chart. But here's the data for people that really want to dig into it. And then let us really go to battle. David Smith, Vietnam is a pass through for China. So is Canada. So is Mexico. It's a very good point. Very powerful point. And I think that other countries are going to continue to now jockey. Singapore is a pass through to China for chips. So all of this is true. These are very complicated games. So anyway.
I think there's a bit of misinformation I want to clear up before we get too deep into it.
That I'm spreading.
No. Just about when people say tariff, we're going in a bunch of different directions. I know a couple of days ago we talked about that. This is not about fighting cheap labor. That was the Balaji point, that China is more than just cheap labor. But it's more so bringing back manufacturing for a strategic country defense. I'll kind of put it at that, rounding that up. Mm-hmm. So on one side, we're doing this because we want to bring as much as we can back to the U.S. that we should bring back, just so we can become a bit more quote unquote independent, shifting away from globalism to a more protectionism, populism.
Yep. It is the natural accordion effect.
Yeah.
Bundle
there is
bundle.
There is going to be certain prices that do get higher because of this, like certain things that come specifically from China, specifically from Japan, specifically
that we don't make here.
Yep. But that also means that there are things that are American made that should theoretically be also cheaper.
It's not necessarily going to drive the prices of things made in America down, though Trump is proposing things like the tax credit for a loan on a vehicle made in the US. Mm-hmm. So things like that would be very beneficial and would drive the cost of American-made cars, this one specifically, down. Yeah, the overall carrying cost will go down.
Yeah.
So yes, but overall, I think even the Trump administration is signaling they understand that this is going to cause temporary pain. And so this is why, boys and girls, this is going to sound gross for a minute, but rock with me. So I took myself from scrounging my couch cushions to find enough change to put gas in my car. So imagine what that life is like. You're paying one bill this month, another bill the next month. Absolutely terrified. How are you going to make everything work? To recording this from my ridiculously large mansion. And it was all on the back of learning to think from first principles and very specifically saying, I have a desired outcome. Now that I know my desired outcome, that goal makes demands. And then you can backtrack via first principles. What are the things I would have to do to get to that desired outcome? And if you can play the game like that, instead of the emotional game of what feels good, which is what everybody wants to do, I have the same impulse that anybody has. But if you can train yourself, and if we can train ourselves as a community to not do that, and instead go, okay, I don't have a team here other than I have a stated goal. That's a way better way to think about it. I have a stated goal, not a team. And here are the things that I think that I have to do to get to that stated goal. What I see, the way that I see this playing out is this is playing out as a team sport. This is not playing, meaning I go to bat for my team no matter what. People do it on the right, people do it on the left. This is the political game. Let us not fall prey to that. Let us instead ask, what is it going to take? First of all, what are the things that we're really trying to do? Okay, so I'm driven by make things better in America because that's the country I'm in. I would very much expect you guys to be going to bat for your own country. The middle class, I hate saying poor. It just sounds gross. But
that's why they call it the working class now.
The working class and the middle class, much better. But God, that feels weird. I work. Anyway, make things better for them because that's one, it's just a lot of people. And so wanting to see a lot of people thrive is always wise. But also, you need that for stability. Okay. Freedom, liberty, those are hard driving things for me as well. Being able to deal with the Cold War so that we can protect ourselves. It's really a pretty small basket of things that I'm really pushing for. So I'll round it to those things. Okay, once you have those, then you start going, what are the base assumptions that I have that leads me to see the world in the distorted way? There's no doubt it is distorted. But what are the base assumptions I have that lead me to see the world in the way that I see it? That way, you can be having the argument, which I very much expect us all to be arguing, because we're trying to make decisions with imperfect knowledge. So we're all going to see something slightly different. But what are the values and base assumptions that drive my thinking? So the things that I want to achieve are driven by my values. And then the way that we get there is driven largely by beliefs. And so when you're arguing at the level of the thing, you're now stuck in the T. So as a community, let's just all understand what that means. So my wife and I learned very early on in our marriage, don't argue about the tea. The biggest argument we ever got into was over a cup of tea. And so after like 2 hours of screaming at each other, I finally said, there's no way this is about a cup of tea. It's not possible. The level of emotion I feel right now, it's not possible this is about tea. So what is this actually about? And then we dug under it and we found the insecurities that were triggering that emotion. So when you can do that and get beneath instead of screaming about tariffs, if you can talk about what are the values that make you want to have a thriving, working, and middle class, what are the beliefs that you have about, like in this case, a Cold War with China, the need to bring some manufacturing back to the US for both of those things, security and national defense, and a thriving, working, and middle class. Then you can actually make progress. Okay, anyway, I hope that all made sense. Yep.
We have another super chat from Lyrith.
Lyrith back to back.
Lyrith back to back.
Yeah,
Thank you,
super
Lyrith.
chat.
Lyrith says, Lyrith says, 36 trillion in debt. The end. Don't fix that. Value of the dollar plummets at light speed in no time. Our power dies. I'm indie as well, but there's no choice. Please listen to Peers panelist Batya at timestamp spot I linked in Discord.
You talking about from yesterday's thing on Liberation Day? She was on fire. She was en fuego. She's not normally emotional like that, at least not the stuff I've seen from her. So yes, I'm all for playing that as well, if we want to pull that up.
On the Discord.
But Lyrith, you are correct. You can't have the kind of debt that we have. There is a reason that our boy Alexander Hamilton was like, hey, this is the thing that leads to revolutions.
I appreciate you giving me that fractal, because now I feel like that now level sets us for this conversation, because the way we got here after I asked you those clarifying questions was Trump is trying something, and we hate it, we love it. It's up to you to make that decision. But it's one of those things that he's a bull in a china shop trying to hopefully get to that desired outcome. So there is a level of grace that I think the both of us are applying, that, hey, let's see what happens. I don't think Trump is perfect. I didn't vote for Trump. But I'm just like, let's see what happens before we get... Because to me, like, he's still an American president and I'm still a citizen of America, so I'm still caught in this. It's almost like when you have a bad boss. It's like, I hate this job, I hate this company, but until I get something, until I can move and get a new passport, I got to just kind of eat it. So I would much rather say, let's see what happens. And when I seen Vietnam and Israel coming back, like, hey, we like, okay, no tariffs, we're good. That's what made me think, okay, this is another negotiation tactic. This is the art of the deal. He's doing that. So that's where that grace is coming from. You have, what's your take that why he's doing it so aggressively when it could have been done, you know, maybe more strategically, maybe he could have, like, why do you think he's taking this exact approach to get there?
In a fight, the first blow is the most important by a country mile. And if you want to win a fight, you smash someone in the fucking mouth. You don't push them. And fights that start with push, those are unserious people. A fight that starts with that straight fucking jab to your nose, that's somebody who's like, I'm playing to win. Trump is doing that. And he's just saying, nope, we are going to completely reorder all of this. And I'm going to be fast and I'm going to be aggressive. That's why. That's certainly my read on the situation. From what I know about his personality to what I know about fights.
So he's doing that. Boom, I'm gonna make an impression. Okay, now that you're at the table, now we can talk. Now we can negotiate. Now I can quote unquote pull my punches back a little bit. But first, you need to feel it, and then we can talk about it later.
Yes, I think he is really trying. Again, whether this works or not, I don't know. This is a game of chicken. He is trying to actually bring manufacturing back to the U.S. in certain. I hope. Please don't make me say this every fucking time. I don't mean everything, but I'm just going to say he's going to bring manufacturing back. He is trying to actually bring manufacturing back. He's trying to give carrot and stick. Okay.
Now, I feel like at the start of this, you said you were a little weirded out because of the tariff. What was it? What's the language? I want to use it specifically. The trade barriers. So this is now looking at it like, okay, if it was tariff for tariff, I get what he's doing. I get it. You'll be more more aligned. I'm gonna throw it back up just so that way.
It's not even that I'm saying I'm not aligned. I'm saying I don't know, and given that I don't know, I want to leave room for this. Needs to be explored. I need to see some transparency because this is going to be. Countries are going to respond. And just like if you just got punched in the mouth, the vast majority of humanity is going to punch back, even if just out of ego. Like, even if it's like, okay, I'm going to lose this fight, but I can't be seen. Like when they replay this footage, I can't be seen not to have thrown a punch. I'm going to look so weak to my own base. So I'm going to
be on the internet getting beat up. I got it.
100%. So people are going to respond. So as they respond, I want to know, is Trump spinning me, as I believe that politicians are constitutionally compelled to do? I think that people get to that level in politics by realizing you need to manipulate people because it's so effective. And so I have a feeling that I'm being manipulated here. So I want to know what the truth is. Now, I may still at the end of it go, they're manipulating me, but this is still the right move. Or I might go, oh, Jesus, like there's so much bullshit in these numbers that of course the other countries are going to be irate. And so now it's like, dude, you're making things harder for yourself. So anyway, maximum information for me will allow me to see things more clearly. So I want as much transparency as I can get. And I'm just saying, hey, there's a big thing here where maybe there's nothing hiding, or maybe there's a whole lot. It's too early for me to come out and say, these are all correct numbers. All right, somebody said, what's the carrot? I think that's a very good question. The carrot is if you produce inside of the United States, that you will have access to the greatest economy in the world. Now, you may not like that carrot, but that's the carrot. Another carrot would be, hey, you, Toyota, are manufacturing here in the US, and so people can get a discount on the loan of the car that they buy. It does not need to be an American company. It needs to be a car made in America. So it is disingenuous to say that he is not providing carrots.
What do you think is the total outcome going to be? Like, I know this is a crystal ball. I know you have the Zartan hat on. Like, what is the ideal outcome, and what do you think actually is going to happen? She's going to happen.
Okay, ideal outcome, very simple. You bring manufacturing back. You create jobs for working and middle class. Yes, there's a region of my brain screaming that AI is just going to automate all this. So is it even going to work? Again, you have to try something. But that would be the ideal outcome. Plus, America has the ability to protect itself, and that we go back to, you're never going to get all the way back to World War II. I mean, maybe that's failure of imagination, but I don't expect it. But that you get in a much stronger position for national defense, and that you're able to make things like pharmaceuticals here in the US. Imagine your mom not being able to get her diabetes drug, right? Like, I'm just not here to play that game. I hope Cali Means and RFK solve it all, and they don't need those medications. But in the interim, I certainly don't want that to be something that somebody else can choke off.
Yeah.
What do I think is actually going to happen? I think that the political machinery of all of this is going to neuter Trump. The economy is going to be down at the midterms. He's going to lose the House and will be a lame duck. And it just won't all come together. It's very pessimistic, but I just think these processes are so messy. Man, I just don't know. I don't know that he's going to be able to get on the other side of this. It's one of those, he obviously believes that what he's doing is going to work because he is betting everything on this. Like, this is legacy, man. He's really rolling the dice. I get it if people hate him, but he's really trying. Like, this is a guy. Did you see the Timothy Chalamet speech? I don't know how much people are going to hate this comparison.
Which one?
Timothy Chalamet was like, I've worked really hard for this. I spent 5 years preparing for this role.
Oh yeah,
I want to win these awards. I want to be great. He's really trying something in an age of ironic detachment. And Trump he's gunning for Mount Rushmore. And I think some people are like, I don't want to live in a world where the president is trying to do something that big. I want to live where the president just sort of blends into the background. I understand it. But
that went into
Trump's
this role,
gunning for Mount Rushmore.
It was this one?
Yeah, I think so.
I know the classiest thing would be to downplay the effort that went into this role and how much this means to me, but the truth is this was 5.5 years of my life. I poured everything I had into playing this incomparable artist, Mr. Bob Dylan. And I know we're in a subjective business, but the truth is I'm really in pursuit of greatness. I know people don't usually talk like that, but I want to be one of the greats. I'm inspired by the greats. I'm inspired by the greats here tonight. I'm as inspired by Daniel Day-Lewis, Marlon Brando, and Viola Davis as I am by Michael Jordan and Michael Phelps, and I want to be up there. So I'm deeply grateful to that. This doesn't signify that, but it's a little more fuel, it's a little more ammo to keep going. Thank you so much. I know
God, I
the
love that
classiest
fucking
thing
speech, man.
would be to downplay.
Timothy,
That's
stand by you, Timothy.
Eunice over there, lick her lips. Oh man.
No, he's true though. I mean, what he's saying is true.
Yes.
What he's saying is true. I mean, yeah.
You look great in that color. I know you're with Kylie, but
Kylie Jenner?
They broke up?
Really?
What?
They were together?
Eunice, you in there.
Oh,
There it is. Now's your time.
Kylie Jenner.
I had no idea. Okay. Where's chat at, everybody?
Lyric, can you select that? Can you drop it in the Discord? I can't find the link.
This is Sparta. Says Ellie. They are together.
Jeff
I don't know
Johnson.
Why that's the they is in all caps.
Tariffs and Trump's language are causing global boycotts. This is on top of tariffs. This on top of tariffs are going to really hurt. When other countries work on free trade with each other, we may be left behind.
That is a very possible outcome. So on that, the right way to look at it is, how has free trade, in air quotes, how has that worked for America so far? It's delivered very cheap goods, and that's not nothing. I forget who said it, but I thought this was really insightful. The new motto is let them eat flat screens. And looking at America and just saying we just need cheap stuff and like that's the holy grail, I think is a mistake. And so if you keep beating the let them eat flat screens drum, America's going to end up in a real fucking dark place.
Ricardo said, that's not a carrot. They already have that access to the greatest economy in the world. It's like taking the carrot away and then saying, I'll give it to you if you dance funny.
That's pretty good. I like that. Here's what I will say to that. If my wife is beating me and I say, hey, I'm no longer going to tolerate you beating me, but I do want to go to therapy and work this out, I would say that's a carrot. And I'm saying, I want to work this out. I want to find a way to move forward together. I'm not trying to fuck you up. I'm just saying you can't build that factory in Mexico if you want access to these rebates. And first of all, the rebates are extra. They're not already getting those rebates. So that's but one example. But yeah, I would say that still qualifies as a carrot, even though your answer is very funny.
Jabe Howell, the rich are so detached from the impacts this is having on the middle class and they don't care.
Jabe, why do you say that? I'm rich. I care. No more words.
Just the
That's it. That's
Eugene, let's talk AI. We coming there. I love it. I see a couple AI questions. We're definitely coming there. Drew Morrow, eating flat screens ends with eating your kids.
Drew, I don't know that those two go hand in hand, but yeah, I wouldn't over-focus just on having cheap stuff. I love cheap stuff. Cheap stuff is great. There's no doubt. But as the world dynamic changes, I've already laid out my base assumptions multiple times. So yeah, if people are going to push back, I would love to hear it in the form of base assumptions or in the form of here's what's wrong, Tom, about your base assumptions. That I will take. But that, at the end of the day, like that's where we want to have the conversation. What do we believe to be true?
And I love what you said, because to me, I'm not rich, guys. I do think...
Yet.
Yes, I love that. I love that.
Hey,
First of all,
believe it. Timothy Chalamet.
come on, Tim.
The man over here writing Easter operas.
You know?
And the thing, I don't mean that tongue in cheek. Like if you can actually capture something, whether it's that one or something else, that's exactly how you break out and do something incredible.
Thank you for that, Tom.
So
I appreciate
keep
it.
pushing. You got a supporter here.
I think that like a lot of people are worried that, okay, now because of tariffs, when I go to the grocery store, my bill is going to be high. Some people are going to call that inflation. Some people are going to call. So I just think the emotions behind it are clouding the ideal goal. And it's just like every discipline thing you have to do. It's going to suck when you go to the gym the first 2 weeks, but if you really want to lose that weight, you have to put down this and go to the gym. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it's the uncomfortability of I'm changing my patterns and it's uncomfortable in the short term to get to a long-term proposed utopia, or is it just the fact that I have to be hurt in order to fix a government problem, and that's not fair? The government should be fixing my problem.
So I really have a strong feeling that one of the things that makes progress in life so difficult is a day is a long time. A year is interminably long. Mm-hmm. And when the future is uncertain and you are being asked to suffer for a year, so it's like, wait, this is a long fucking time for me to pay an extra fee on enter the 30 things they care most about. And now all of them went up. Even if it's like, yes, I could go buy that brand, but I don't like that brand as much. And so now you're making my life more expensive in an uncertain way where I don't know that this is actually going to lead anywhere good. This might go nowhere.
You're literally answering Jabe and Angela's question. So perfect.
Word. So that is the part where I think that people get so lost in, is this actually going to work? That the second you feel it, you're just like, nope. This is why the greatest advice that you can give somebody in the stock market, and people are going to laugh, the greatest advice, like truly the only advice you need, buy low, sell high. Now, it's been repeated so many times that it's become a cliche. But why is it repeated? Because every motherfucker buys high and sells low. Because when everybody gets excited, you have all this psychological protection from thinking yourself a fool. And so as the price is going up, you're like, oh man, everybody really believes in this. This is safe. Nobody gets fired for buying IBM. I can look myself in the face. If this all fails, it's okay because everybody believed in it. And I can say everybody believed in it. Everybody did this. And so you buy. And then the price drops and you go, I don't know if the price is going to keep going lower or if it's ever going to rebound. And the thought of looking at your crypto holdings or your stock portfolio being down for a month with an uncertain future, and then you hit the 6-month mark and the future is still uncertain and the number's still going down. You're like, oh God. People can't do that. And so they end up buying high and they end up selling low. It is crazy. So when the price is low, I'm just like, I have a thesis. The thesis isn't violated, so I'm going to keep going. The second the thesis is violated, then you have to change your behavior. But people really can't stand that fear of an uncertain future, especially if they're at risk of losing money or looking stupid.
I know this is a loaded question.
My favorite kind of question.
So I apologize. But if I am in the middle class right now and I'm struggling, and now I'm hearing about tariffs that's just going to triple my grocery bill.
Yep.
You can't be mad at me for saying this is dumb. You can't be mad at me for being mad at this. How should, where do I find refuge? Where do I find, what do I do? Because my grocery bill went up because Trump is playing big man games. My car just broke down. I need a new car, and now I got to pay 15% more in a new car that I didn't even want to buy. That car prices were cheap, and then in 2020, I was trying to get a house. I can't get a house now. Now rent's going up. Where do I go from here?
Are you
How do
smart?
I process this moment? Give me something. Give me a lifeline here, Tom.
You know that the world bifurcates into people that are not, they don't have the cognitive horsepower or desire to think through this. And then there are people that are going to think through it. If you're going to think through it, lay out your base assumptions, lay out your desired goal, lay out the base assumptions that you believe, and then vote accordingly. And if Trump is violating a base assumption upon which your worldview rides, then you need to vote against him. And I want that tension. I want people to hear my sincere, strong take, go listen to a whole bunch of other people, and then make up their own mind. And if you don't pay attention, then you're going to vote based on your emotions.
Mm.
And so here's the thing. Evolution gave us emotions so that you could make a decision even if you don't understand what's happening. And that's what people will do. And this is why emotions are dangerous, and I think people should ignore them. But if you don't have the time, desire, or cognitive horsepower to think through this well, you're just going to go based on your emotions. And I am perfectly willing to accept whatever future is born of that. But that doesn't mean that I won't fight to have my little bit of influence. But that was more a description of how it will play out versus how it ought to play out. People should learn. People should think about it. People should lay out their own value set, their own desire of where they're trying to get to. They should lay out the things that they believe. They should seek disconfirming evidence. They won't, at least not en masse. But hopefully everybody in chat will. Hi, chat.
Okay.
Welcome. It's wonderful to have you.
I got that.
Let's go.
I got that time code. Boom, pulling this up and
What
play.
I find so frustrating about the conversation around tariffs is that we all agree on the problem. We all agree that the deindustrialization of America led to the downward mobility of the American working class, deaths of despair, people working multiple jobs and not being able to afford the American dream. We all agree that it is deeply unfair for the American middle class to be bearing the burden of unfair tariffs from other countries. We all agree that it is great for the president to have leverage in order to demand reasonable things, like that countries stop allowing fentanyl to murder 100,000 Americans every year, and that Mexico do its part to police its own border. And yet when somebody has the courage to show up and say to Wall Street, screw you, I am waging war. I am waging class warfare on behalf of the American working class. And you elites in Wall Street, you do what you need to do because I'm not going to stop fighting for the American working class. Suddenly, everybody is sitting around going, oh no, the stock market. Yeah, the stock market looks like that because the rich are punishing Trump for siding with the neglected and humiliated American working class over them. We have already seen these tariffs work, Pierce. The number of people crossing the southern border is at 0. Fentanyl is at record lows for the last 10 years. We have already seen $1.2 trillion in manufacturing invested in this country since January 21st. So they have already worked. Now, how long is Wall Street going to keep trying to punish this president for standing the American working class? I don't know, but I can tell you that the view from the street is people cannot believe that there is a president who is working for them, who is putting them first and telling Wall Street to go screw itself. Wall Street, which picked the Democrats for the last 3 election cycles in a row. That's what the real story is here.
I heard lies after lies. I heard watch Tom back everything she just said. This girl is cray. I'm surprised that this is literally the response to this, because people were just talking in the chat how the middle class is going to get the brunt of this, how they're struggling, and I felt like that's what she said. But I don't know who that lady is. I guess she's on the other team, so we're not allowed to listen to what she says. What's your initial response?
First of all,
I don't.
I really hope nobody in this chat is going with teams. That would be very sad. God, I wouldn't even know what to do with that. Okay, so here, I think she makes an incredible emotional appeal, but it's largely emotional. So you want to lay out what are the base assumptions that she has, what are the arguments that she's making, and then how does that match or conflict with your own? So here's what she's laying out. That if you want to help, first of all, that the American working class was put in that position by doing globalization and allowing manufacturing to seek the cheapest labor. Cool. So that's point number one. So it's like, do people agree with that? Yes or no? If you agree with that, then you move on to point number two. If you don't agree with that, then you're already tapping out. The second thing she said is, we've already seen these tariffs work, and so now you want to go run the math. Is she referencing his first term? I'd have to watch it again. In context, I can't remember if she's saying that we're already seeing it work right now, or we already saw it work historically, but nonetheless, you can follow that chain of logic and say either, yes, we agree that this worked in his first term, or no, we didn't, or yes, we can see that this is moving things in the right direction now, or no, we don't. But she's laying out exactly her claim, which then people can refute or agree with. What makes that clip have the punch, though, is the emotional topspin that she puts on it. And that's where I would say, man, you really want to, it feels good when it's somebody on your side that's yelling and screaming. And Jank does a good job of yelling and screaming later with a similar level of emotional intensity. This is actually a really awesome panel. I fucking loved it. Mm-hmm. But the person I would say pay the most attention to, and I can't remember her name, but it's the woman on the very end with the green scarf. We're trying to get her on the show. I think she just has such a great read on the way that economics works. Very, very fascinating person. So she was amazing in the panel. She had to leave early, but she was phenomenal. So I'd watch the whole thing, pay close attention to what she's saying. I think that she is very calm, very articulate, lays out the string of logic. And she's very much like, I don't think this is going to work. I think she comes across to me very even-handed from, hey, I get what he's trying to do. I'm just not sure it's going to play out. This game is so complicated. There's going to be so much interference. People are going to push back. They're not going to just be like, yeah, go ahead and tariff me. Mm-hmm. So anyway, going back to Bhatia, I think is her name. Saying that she's lying, find the part that you think she's lying about. Zoom in on that. Like, are you saying, because there's two things I think that she said very specifically, border crossings are at effectively zero, and the whatchamacallit is at an all-time low. Fentanyl is at a 10-year, low. And then I guess you could say she said that they've already worked. And so by all means push back on that. But yeah.
Okay, I want to jump in and let Jillian, I want to hear her point because I didn't hear her side yet.
Economy has become over-financialized. Hold on.
So you weren't necessarily buying all that Bhatia was selling there?
No, the question I'd say is that leaving aside the reaction on Wall Street, and I would agree very strongly that the American economy has become over-financialized, that there's been pumped up asset prices. I would agree very strongly that that has made the rich richer at the expense of ordinary American workers. I agree with all that. What I find very striking, and I think is going to be Trump's biggest challenge going forward, is that if you look at surveys of what ordinary Americans, not Wall Street, but ordinary Americans think is now going to happen to inflation and growth and employment, inflation expectations have jumped up in the last 2-3 months from 3% to over 6%. That is actually higher under some measures than we saw during COVID. The employment expectations have cratered. Ordinary American workers right now are extremely anxious. So even if you accept the theory that this is going to reorientate American economy and trade in the medium to long term, I think it's very unclear that ordinary Americans are going to see the benefits of that anytime soon. You just have to look at the consumer polls on a whole range of different surveys right now and how dramatically they've collapsed. And so one of the questions I have is that, yes, maybe in the medium to long term, this might work out, as people like Peter Navarro would say. I actually have serious doubts about that. But in the short to medium term, it's going to be brutal. And when you say this is the first time we've had a president to do this, in fact, that's not correct. 100 years ago, we had a wave of extreme protectionism, not dissimilar to this, and that ended really badly. So the question I'd throw back to the panel and the cheerleaders for what's happening right now is, one, how do you think American consumers are going to react if their inflation expectations keep going up through the roof? Particularly because gas prices are the most visible sign of inflation for them. And if Canada squeezes America now on the oil and gas exports, those will really go up pretty dramatically, the gas prices. And secondly, why is it going to be different today from what it was like in the 1930s?
Can I respond
She's
to
a
that?
gangster.
Well, they're very good questions. Yeah, you can, yeah.
So first of all,
Sorry, wrong. Okay.
What's her name?
Jillian
Jillian Tett. Are we sure about that?
Tett. T-E-T-T.
Jillian Tett. Yeah,
Yeah.
I find her very compelling, very interesting. Yeah. Love it.
Okay, so chat has been on fire about this topic. I'm asking people to just tell me how you feel, but don't just tell me feelings. Tell me where we went wrong. Tell me what are we missing. Because I think that when I first seen this link, I thought when people heard Batia's claim, they would agree with her. Because she started off depths of despair. Like, the middle class is struggling. Everybody can agree with that. I hope everybody thinks that same thing. Inflation is making everything more expensive. I think we can all agree that everybody's saying the same thing. I think everything after those two statements is where we're starting to fractal and break left and break right. But I thought I needed to figure something else out to bring manufacturing back, hopefully to increase wealth and opportunities for the middle class. I think that's what Trump's hoping for. My thing is, what's the opposite of that the left thinks that needs to be done to increase middle class?
Tax the rich.
Tax the rich. Got it.
That is, like, as far as I can tell from the left, that is the punchline. If somebody sees an argument that I haven't seen, please, like, throw it out. But yeah, that is the whole thing. They believe that redistribution is the miracle. That, look, all you have to do is tax the rich at 90% or whatever on a escalating basis. I am well aware. And all your problems are solved.
I'm hearing drilling will solve the gas prices. That is true. If we have more supply, we can do it. But environmental people will be like, hey, you're also going to poison the oceans. Yeah, this is an interesting topic.
Well, let's drill down. Like, what are the pushback? So, Eunice, you fight on behalf of our beloved chat. What is our beloved chat saying that isn't just emotion? What are the arguments?
We've got Esoteric Economy saying money printing is a problem and the loss of motivation, aspirations. We need more building and construction, less regulation and zoning.
He's right. But is there pushback? So the people that hated what Batia said, where did they start hating it?
I mean, right at the beginning, really.
But, like,
lies, all lies. But I haven't seen anything.
But when they say lies, which part is a lie?
They're not specifying.
Yeah, everything she says is a lie.
Beloved chat, as a just general rule, I care about people and I want to see you do well in life. When you get specific, you will be confronted with a really fascinating human phenomena, which is you'll realize very quickly that emotions make dots feel like they connect that don't actually connect. Okay, so one person said fentanyl is a lie. So you're saying it's not at a 10-year low. Cool. Now this feels like a knowable thing. So where would you guys propose that we go look to see the stats on that?
We've got one.
Let's go.
That does not have to do with fentanyl. Scribderber said, the lie is that she said immigration is at 0. Come on.
Okay, so Skurba Durba, as a longtime wonderful addition to this community, I will say, is it possible that you're getting lost in the minutia, and let's say that it isn't 0? Can we, because I have a very aggressive base assumption that the number has gone down so radically since Trump took office, whether it's 0 or not is way beside the point, that the new policies are way better for illegal immigration. Do we agree on that? Because this is like when I hear people go, Trump told 36 lies in that speech. And then you go hear the lies and it's like, well, he said it was the greatest ever. He said that nobody's ever seen anything like it. And it's like, okay, sure. Like, that's how he talks. And I get it. For some people, that's just completely disqualifying. But I would say, can we please get to the base assumptions, the logic that's driving this machine, and whether we think this is actually going to lead where we want it to lead or not? Because that feels like we're arguing about the wrong thing.
We've got a specificity here saying tariffs from Esoteric Dichotomy saying tariffs last time cost more jobs in the economy than they created and required subsidies and deficit spending to save the damaged industries.
Okay, so that's the kind of thing that you can drill into and start building a case for. Okay, we did this in the first Trump term. Here are the things that we think came of that. That is the exact kind of logical pursuit that you want to follow to find out if we take these beliefs and we look backwards in history, what do we begin to see? That is the kind of case that you want to make for sure. Now, given that before we were not trying to do the things that, or maybe he was, but he certainly did not try with the level of gusto that he's trying now to achieve the thing I want to see achieved, which is bring back enough manufacturing that we can do two things: create jobs for the working and middle class and national security. So as long as those two things, because I think that there is going to be a certain amount of pain and suffering that's going to come in the short term, I think that they have ideas on how they're going to mitigate that. But if those things don't come to fruition and prices just go up, then you have done a bad thing. Like if you don't bring manufacturing back, if you don't create an ability to protect yourself from a national security perspective, but you do raise prices and you do piss off all your allies, then this will have been wildly failed. Tom just wants the American public to only work in factories. For fuck's sake. Mostly business. What makes you think that? I can't wait to hear this answer.
Michael Dudley. I want to talk to you, bro. Let's throw up an argument. What's he got for us? Let's drill down.
Holy is all I see. What else did he say?
This dude is Trump pilled so hard. He was the one that's saying she's a Russian asset. She's a troll.
She's a Russian asset.
Yeah. You know, everybody on the right is paid by the Russians.
Okay. It's an argument.
Yes, tariffs also aren't good. It's just
also. What's the also?
I'm just trying to get a coherent statement to that. That's why
Michael, get as short as you can, because if you put something super long, we're going to say, I'm not reading that, but I wish you well, or feel bad for whatever just happened.
You should have never sent you that meme.
That meme is so good. It's so on point.
I can't believe you went this long.
But keep it punchy, but give us the breakdown. Like, how do you think this should play out? Because if you've got a way that's awesome, then let's get behind it. Like, let's really push this out. Remember, as far as I'm concerned, the way to think goes like this. I know where I'm trying to get to. Here are the things that I think lead to that. Here are the base assumptions as to why I think those things will lead to that. And if you can give us a breakdown like that, and it seems like, whoa, there's better internal logic to this. And we can run some tests looking backwards and say, how would that have played out in the past? And it's like, oh shit, this actually would work. Because the only thing I know is my current thinking is not perfect. So I need insights. Okay, wait, Michael Dudley. I find it interesting that you guys can't even look at people's past and you just believe words. Okay, Michael, let's go. Are we talking about Bhatia? So if we are, and you have something that can show me, look, she does this all the time. She just lies. She just spins. Cool. Like, I'm here for that. If there's just an ignorance that I have to her character that would be useful, I'm here. Let's go. I will certainly look at that.
KA, if tariffs aren't good, why do other nations squeeze us with them?
Let's not lose what Ricky said. We talked about that earlier, but it's probably worth going around again. But sorry, wait. You said Kate said, if tariffs aren't good, why do other nations squeeze us with them? It's a great question. Tariffs allow you to protect yourself from other people bringing shit to your country. That's just full stop. If somebody's got a different take on that, by all means, let me know. But you are literally doing it to make it more expensive for people to bring the thing into your country. Okay, Ricky Martinez. Republicans voted against Trump for the first time, against tariffs on Canada. Yeah, so this will be interesting to see how this plays out because I need to look deeper into this. I'm only at the headline level. I just saw it before we went live. But it seems that what Congress is saying is Trump does not have, the president does not have the right to impose tariffs. I think there's some caveat against the country as a whole. I don't know. I'll have to look at this thing, but they're saying this is a tax and taxes can only be levied by Congress. So that will be interesting. And you had Republicans vote against the Trump agenda on that.
The Pope of Chicago, if the policies and the results are so great, why constantly resort to hyperbole? Why not put out the hard numbers and let the results speak for themselves?
The Pope of Chicago, I think you know the answer to that.
Man as political animal.
Man is political animal. James Burnham. The reality is that the human mind works in a certain way, and the vast majority of humans go with emotion, pure and simple. It makes me very sad that that is true, but that is true. And given that that's true, if you're a politician and you don't know how to do that, then you're going to lose. I think a lot about that as a YouTuber. Look at the YouTubers at Crush. Lot of emotion, lot of team. It's just not my shtick. It's not the right way forward. I would rather fade into obscurity than say things that I don't think actually move people forward. The Machiavellians by James Burnham. Let's go.
Yes.
Eric, over there.
There it is.
He was
Very
holding it.
underutilized button.
He was
Nicely done.
waiting. He was like, I'm waiting for him to finish his thought, waiting for him to finish his
I love it.
Cool. All right. I don't know if you guys seen it. I'm hard pivoting. I don't want to talk about tariffs no more. Sorry, guys. I hope you guys seen the intro video.
Oh, but also, wait, we should tell him, if you guys have any more things to say about him, you should go to the Discord and put them in the chat.
Yeah,
Because
we have
do
forms.
read
Love that.
It
We
is.
have-
We do read it, so.
We have forms in the chat. I respond. Things like bubble up. We send to Tom. This was in there. That's how it got kind of put on our radar. So
Let's
feel free.
go.
Please do.
Keep the conversation open, guys. We're not just. But
do you
calling
mean
Tom
open?
stupid doesn't help us advance the conversation. So come back
It
with
can.
links.
Like if you can say why I'm stupid, then I love it the most because remember, I'm always trying to remove the scales from my eyes. I know that the way that I'm thinking is imperfect. And it is very useful to say, Tom, you were dumb for this reason, because then I can look at the reason and go, does that have higher predictive validity than the thing that I already believe? So I welcome that. I encourage that. I seek that out. I want disconfirming evidence, but just the you're stupid thing, what are we all supposed to do with that? It doesn't help.
Cameron Fry, I eat tariffs for breakfast. As 3 people who are fasted on this set.
I know, right? Damn.
Stop talking
Anything
about
for breakfast right now would be amazing. Oh, the problem with the 6 a.m. start.
Okay.
We should mukbang one day.
That didn't
Mukbang.
sound like English. Mukbang.
Muk-
That's what I heard.
mukbang.
What did you say?
Mukbang. Mukbang?
What word is she saying? What the fuck is happening right
Mukbang.
now?
No, the
Mukbang?
Yeah, those things where you
Where you eat and people
where you eat on the
watch
stream.
you.
That's called mukbanging?
Mukbang. No, we're not. No, not the banging. Just mukbang. Don't add an ing on it.
But wait, you have to, if it is a thing that you do, then you can add ing to
No,
it.
you don't. Not for this one.
What is a mukbang? It's just eating on stream.
Mukbang.
Yeah.
Look, how has he never heard of mukbang?
It's
That's right.
eating
Literally.
SMR. Eating like SMR, like so.
ASMR.
Because people want to listen to that?
People want to.
Mouth noises. People love mouth
People-
noises.
What?
Stop. Okay.
Oh, this got weird real fast. Okay, we're not going to be eating on stream, but
You make it weird.
Kit Moon said Unease Show.
I make it weird?
He's gonna surprise mukbang.
The founder of Quest Nutrition cannot mukbang. I don't think anybody should mukbang. It's gross. Gag, gag, gag. Says Jenny Wilson.
Tom will show you after.
Show me.
I'll show you.
Camera Fry is advising
We'll
I
show
not
you
listen to
Nikado
you guys.
avocado.
Captain Red likes the ing. I'm with you. All right.
Okay, so for those that don't know, there's a TikTok influencer. She has this series called Let's Play Hinge, where she scrolls through Hinge.
This is the best TV show of all time.
And she taps certain things, signifying her preferences. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm trying not to be like culturally slanted. I'm looking for a link. So we showed this to Tom yesterday, and literally, like, what was your first reaction? Like, you were like, my mind is blown. It's my favorite TV show ever. I thought he was joking, and we were like, haha, okay, tried to stop it at 30 seconds. He was like, no, seriously, play it till the end. We like stayed in the office watching all 7 minutes of it.
This is humanity unfolding before my very eyes. And remember, because I've been married for so long, this stuff is such a window into what's going on right now. This is fascinating.
Okay, so we'll play a couple minutes of it. You'll get the notion of it quickly.
There's something about the way she uses that pen that I just find, absolutely amusing. So when I see that X flash up, I mean, there it is. There it is. Get ready for that one, boys and girls. So if you guys are just listening, every time she sees 5'9" or below, she fucking smashes that thing. That's a hard X for her. No bueno. Got a guy cuddling his cat here.
I have a cat. I have 2 gerbils. I'm open to people who have pets because they seem more sympathetic and caring. I'm a coffee addict, coffee fiend, and you gotta be open to just being.
God, it would be so hard to find a thing to put onto this where it's like, that 20 or 30 seconds really sums up who you are. More tapping. Was that height? Where are we at here?
That was age.
Oh, that's right. She likes, I assume she's young. So she is not here for moderate. She does not like moderates. Man, if you are, there it is, 5'9". We're mad about it again. This is so interesting. Okay, it's the thing that you don't see that I found so fascinating about this, which is everybody in the dating pool is being reduced to data point entries. And I'm like, if I were advising her, I'd be like, okay, listen, I get that you have to have a way to filter the universe down into a manageable number of things, but you will so quickly over optimize for your no's that you're not looking for ways to connect. And everything that is going to be on these dating apps is going to have this level of artificiality. So for instance, when you're interviewing somebody to be an employee, you have to walk into the interview knowing interviews as a setup are horrible. They trigger anxiety in people. You're not seeing who the person really is. They're going to like rehearse for a bunch of like, they're used to like certain answers. And so they'll come armed with certain things that are likely to trick you. And so the whole thing is like, how do I get around the fact that the interview is set up to not work? And we've gotten to a point where online dating made sense in the beginning because it was a way to very quickly see a lot of people rather than like, I have to go out on a Tuesday night and I've got to find a place like a bar or a church and like, oh my God, I've got to go up and approach. Like, this is brutal. And so the idea behind online dating in the beginning made a lot of sense. You're going to be able to see a lot of people. But there is something about the hyper efficiency of turning everybody into these data points that deranges your ability to actually find somebody interesting. So like the guy tackling the snowman, that to me, like, I'd be like, bro, women don't read the world like that. This is not going to find you the person that you want to find. And all of this is, how can you, as rapidly as possible, get to the point where it's the most authentic engagement that you can get to? And we're going the exact opposite direction. Like, online dating is crystallizing to the point now, I know other people are going to watch this and they're going to be like, exactly, right? Clicking the 5-9, like they love it. They feel seen. Yeah. Fuck all these short guys. And it's now just going to like, it's going to just keep crystallizing and crystallizing and crystallizing into this like proper cultural mental illness. And I think that we have reached that point. And so I admit, for me, watching that is a bit like watching a car wreck. Oof. Like, I can't look away. It's too crazy. Watching her dig herself into a deeper and deeper hole.
I have so many emotions. I have so many emotions on this because as a reformed fuckboy,
I like it. Let's go.
Okay. One of my best friends is like 5'6".
Yep.
And when I tell you, I have seen him pull amazing women, like taller than him, like 10s, like, so the whole like short guys can't. No, it's a confidence thing.
Facts.
Like, if you can get that opening line, it's a wrap. Like,
but does he struggle on dating apps?
I don't even think he uses dating apps.
Yeah, he has realized a truth. I don't database well.
Yeah,
but I real life like a fucking gangster.
You got to know your strengths.
100%.
I go out with him in the club. He can pull anything in the club. I suck at the club. I got house party game. I got house party game. I got responsibility game. I'm great at weddings. I don't know why.
Let's go. Yes, you are. Do you bring up Lynn?
Oh.
I should be using Lynn way more in my dating.
At a wedding?
I should be using, no.
It's like catnip.
I never
Is
have.
it?
Of course.
Oh.
Responsible, good father,
Okay.
love my daughter. Plus, she's 13. She only got 5 years left. She's a fuck out. So
You
it's
only
like,
have 5 years left.
yep.
No, literally at my best friend's wedding, I love him to death. His brother is a little bit like weird, so I ended up having to take some of the best men. Like, I was like, yo, bro, it's your wedding. You just chill, get in your zone. I got you. I'll run around. So I'm calling the bridesmaid. Hey, meet us here. Hey, meet us here. And the bridesmaid was like, hey, thank you so much for putting this together. So the responsibility thing, like, I was like,
She touched that arm?
Yes. I was like, oh, okay,
arm.
so this is where I shine. My 5'6" friend, he told me one time, it is so easy for me to get girls in a club. I had to start dating strippers because it's a harder challenge.
Whoa.
Now I want to date girls who think
That was a hard left. I didn't see that coming.
But it's like, when you shine, you shine. And I feel like in dating apps, there's no interaction. There's no personality. You are a spreadsheet.
Yes.
Yep.
And like, that's not life.
It's deranging.
At the same time, my brother is literally getting married in June, and he met his woman on Hinge. And I love.
Does he
amazing.
database well? How tall is he?
5'10".
Okay,
Is he
he
moderate?
crossed the magic line, so it's 5'10".
No, he's
good
liberal.
there.
Okay.
Does he lie about his height?
No, he's actually 5'10".
So he is 5'10" and puts 5'10". He isn't 5'10" and puts like 5'11".
He is 5'10".
He's 5'10". No, that's the thing too.
I think it's fair. You give yourself 1 inch for
I
sure.
heard there was a bunch of 6'1" people that were 5'10" on dating apps.
See, that's too much. You
Oh,
can't.
that's
3
quite a-
inches.
quite a-
like,
yeah,
come
that's
on,
quite a
bro.
few. You can
That's
tell.
obvious.
Yeah.
Like off the jump. 6'1" is like, when I meet you, you're gonna feel fucking tall.
Yeah.
At 5'10", you're gonna feel tallish, but you're not gonna feel tall. So yeah, you don't want to pull that one.
Unease put LMAO in the Slack channel. I love this. This was also your favorite thing ever. So, okay. Y'all loved it. I was traumatized the entire time. I'm just like,
Because it was so funny. It's just, first of all, like you said, the Apple Pencil.
Yeah.
The tapping. Okay. The quiet.
This woman is a talent.
The background elevator music. Okay. First of all, like, it is a game for her, you know.
Yeah, the problem is it's a sense of superiority. It is funny,
Yes.
and don't get me
It
wrong.
is.
I fucking
No,
loved
it
it,
is.
and I want to watch more episodes with my wife, but it is very train wrecky for me. It's train wrecky in like the guy cuddling his cat and that whole thing, and I was like, bro, no, hard pass.
I would say that it happens on both sides because I've seen it
sure.
happen. So it's like
sure.
for her to have a sense of superiority, like I just saw so many people in the chat. Literally, we watched the first 10 seconds. Someone's like, I bet she's fat. I bet she's ugly. Why didn't she show her face? And I'm just like, okay, yeah, you guys all hate each other. Why are you guys all trying to mate? Stop. Like
It is
both sides,
it's a pretty
both
wild
sides
game.
We're literally just shitting on each other.
Yeah,
Within the
this
first 10 seconds.
is the thing that I'm most traumatized about from what's happening from the internet coming into existence, social media, is men and women have become enemies.
Yeah.
And that makes me very sad. That is a dark place to be.
So is the guy equivalent weight? Is that what everybody is saying? Like weight is the so how she tapped 5'9", moderate, can't be too old. I think men probably have a wider range of like men will date young, date old. I think they have a wider. I don't know.
I think they have a wider like age preference.
Yeah,
for sure.
Really? Men
Yeah.
will date older?
I think I know a lot of guys.
For my generation, that would have been crazy.
No, I know a lot of
Like,
guys personally
huh?
that would date much younger and much older. They're
Fuckboy style or like for real, for real?
like for real, like
Interesting.
in a
yeah. I was about to say
relationship.
I know fuckboy style. I don't know for real.
For real, yeah.
Yeah.
Both.
That seems crazy. I think you might be being bamboozled.
that
Oh,
Eric and I are Gen
That's
Gen
not
X
crazy.
though, so you can discount heavily what we say. Are you? You got to be like the first year. What year were you born? Okay, yeah, you just made it, but that's fair.
You just made it.
He did. Gen X ends in like
You were
80
5.
or
You're
81.
5'10".
We
Eric,
literally,
you
have,
just
we literally have someone in the chat. My wife is 3 years older than me. I'm Gen X.
Yeah,
Oh,
that.
shout out
But
to Ribsy.
but hold on.
She's
Ribsy.
right. She's right. They will date older for real.
Be honest. In our age group, that would be unusual. Not crazy. It's 3 years, but
someone
it's
literally just
unusual.
said mine is 13 years older.
That's unusual.
I think
Wow.
it is unusual, but I'm not saying it's not unusual. I'm saying men are more open to
Okay.
men are more open to the gap, whereas I am not.
Wait, hold on. No, I call bullshit. You guys are out of your fucking minds. Women will date
Let me sit
men.
about it for a second.
Women will date men that are like 20. My grandfather was 44 years older than my grandmother.
I'm not doing that.
44 is
40
crazy.
is crazy, but now listen. I'm not saying that's not crazy. That one's like hardcore.
I'm not saying
But-
that's not crazy. He said 44 is
Hold on though.
perfect.
For all throughout human history, women do not suffer a penalty for dating an older man. In fact, may get a bonus because that man will have already built alliances, be better at resource acquisition, all of that. Young women are fertile. Older women are not. You guys are out of your fucking minds. So from an evolutionary standpoint, what you were saying, maybe a temporary blip or some shit like that, or it's fuckboy status, there's no way that is common. Nope, hard pass.
Okay, so age gap debatable. Weight, I feel like, is the male height, is the male equivalent for height. Because I know a lot of dudes that will, which that I feel like is culturally too. Because some people call it thick, some people call it fat, some people like. I don't think everybody just wants a Angelina Jolie in the 80s when she was like all skin and bones, or like
Agreed.
80s Nicole Kidman or nothing. But at the same time, like there is that preference, I will call it. Do you think, what's your preference? What's your standard on preference? Because some people think it's wrong to judge a person based on their height or their weight. Or do you think I like what I like, it should be on the table?
You like what you like, whatever the fuck. If you want to do hair color, if you want to do style, do your thing. The reason that I worry about her is that she's going to make it hard for her to find real romance. Like if you can't see, I am doing this all based on a database, and that probably deranges pretty quickly. If you can't see that, you're in trouble. And also, like in the long run, it's about how that person makes you feel. Do you guys have good communication? Are you on each other's team? Are you trying to do something together? Can you have shared goals? And all of that stuff is independent of height, weight, et cetera, et cetera. But I get it. Like sexual attraction is real, and people shouldn't feel badly about the type of person that they're attracted to.
I think it'd be very silly to say like looks aren't important.
Looks are very important for sure.
I think
Like
it'd be very silly to say.
you're gonna be attracted to some people and not attracted to others. Yeah. No beef.
I think if, from her perspective, I think she just has extremely high standards for herself. And in her mind, she's like manifested this dream guy, and she's just
That's
like,
the part that worries me.
The fact like the fairy tale prince,
Yeah.
like that ideal.
So
But I think-
what is your base assumption, right? And so my base assumption is that the far harder puzzle piece is personality. And if you lean on the way easier puzzle piece that's really in the long run not going to matter that much, things that can fit into a database. So again, you need to be attracted to that person. I'm just saying that one, personality is a part of the attraction equation. And if you understand that personality is going to be the thing that carries you through all of the years, then you want to find ways to encounter personality as fast as possible. And if instead of trying to encounter personality as fast as possible, you're looking to rule people out as fast as possible on things that in the long run aren't going to be as important. Again, not that they don't matter, but that you're looking for the reasons to say no, and you are for sure going to be discarding people that you would have more in common with from a personality standpoint. So again, I understand how we end up here. You need a filtering mechanism. You have to take the entire universe of people on Hinge and boil them down to a subset that you can dive into. And I'm just saying you need to hold some awareness for how likely you are to discard people based on things that are less important than the things that are like really matter to you. And so I would just be as fast as possible trying to figure out, okay, on Hinge, how do I identify somebody's personality? Like, what are the things that I'm looking for that give me indications of personality? Like, for instance, the moderate thing. Okay, like saying, fuck that. Like, I do not want somebody that has values that are moderate because that's just code for hard right, whatever. Okay, cool. That one I get. But I'd be looking for that.
You were going to say something about it, about like her and her like preference. You were saying she made this idea. She has these high standards for herself.
Yeah, she has this like ideal man that she's pictured who could potentially be, 6'2", liberal, whatever. And that's just what she's going based off of. Like, I feel like if you're on Hinge, you're already just opening up the door for yourself to be like, I'm going more looks based than personality based right off the bat. Because I feel like if you're on there, you're obviously just judging someone based off of their pictures immediately. Obviously, the picture wouldn't be first if you didn't care about the looks. So I'm kind of like...
we all judge everybody, even in real life, off of looks. Like, that's going to be the first thing that you cue off of.
But if you're more open to meeting... Like, people don't really go on, like, blind dates anymore or anything because they're kind of scared. Or I would also say that, like, the lack of, like, third spaces, type of thing, like, or people being a little more socially awkward in person and like less open to meeting people in person or in real life is kind of also a thing. I don't know. I just feel like if you're on the app, you're like already like open to the database. You're like, you don't care about the personality.
I think they're blind to it. I don't think they realize that they're doing it.
Elizabeth Tompkins, that's a really good point. She said men say moderate, meaning they can date left or right. So moderate means I don't care what your political preference is. I'm good either way. She says, but when I put conservatives, all the men in the pool disappear. I'm in San Fran. Men just say liberal to keep the pool open. And based on that video,
people won't even flag themselves as conservative.
Yeah, like
that's fascinating.
She literally X'd out guys who met the height requirements. I guess met the picture requirements because she got that far down. But they were conservative and it was a hard pass regardless of everything else.
So guys have just learned, don't say that.
If you want to get laid, can't be a conservative.
That was
the protest, right? Withdraw keep the pink from him.
Whoa!
Because he voted for Trump. Remember that protest?
That was amazing. Yes.
Yeah. When they're cutting their heads off, having a sex protest, and there was another element of it.
Cutting their heads off?
Shaving their heads, shaving their hair.
I missed that one.
Shaving their hair, withholding sex, and there was something else. That was just like, because of men voting for Trump. It was like the movement.
I remember
Yeah.
For sure.
I don't remember.
All right. What else we got, boys and girls?
There was something else I wanted to flag, but I lost the comments.
Uh-oh.
Oh, well.
70 is still
Yes, the 4B movement.
Ronald.
Thank you, Ribsy. 4B movement. 4B. Okay.
We need an update on Drew's status.
Hey, man, life is good.
Love you right back, Elizabeth.
I went on a date on Monday. It was
Let's
nice.
go.
Yeah, it was cool.
All right.
But it was cool.
Just cool.
Yeah.
She watched the show?
Did she watch the show? He said, "Did you get another viewer for us?" Or
No,
what?
I want to know
If you gonna be out there, at least.
All right.
if she doesn't watch the show, we can press him for more details. If she watches the show,
no,
then
she
he's
doesn't
got to
watch the
be
show.
he's got to be cagey.
No.
Why
If I
not? What the
may.
fuck? That's a hard pass.
Doesn't watch the show. Not a viewer.
Get out of here.
As I'm just gonna start tapping it. Do you watch
Right.
the show? Tap. Yeah, she was cool. It was fun. I see friend vibes. Like
Oh.
it. I just like it wasn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
Hey.
fine. It's fine to feel that.
fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, we got a light.
We've got some super chats
Let's
here.
go.
Not a theory
Yeah. Super
says,
chat.
so grateful I met and married in the 80s. Madonna lace and metal hair aside,
Let's
I
go.
couldn't get through a grocery list, let alone this craziness. Met and married again in the 2000s, but he was a musician. No apps for that.
Word. Yeah, I have to admit, I am very glad that I also missed the dating app thing. Not sad about that.
Jethro says, people always talk about height. If you're below average height, it's harder for you. If you're short and handsome, I promise, like 5'6", they are fine. I can put a link of a YouTuber making himself 5'6", and he's still got a lot of
It's got that wrist. You gotta have a game. You can
Matches,
be 6'5"
I think
without
is
no
what it
game.
is.
matches, maybe?
Yeah. Yes, I'm surprised. I'll be honest. On a dating app, I'm surprised that he can pull. But in real life, I would not be surprised in the slightest.
We've got Noah B.E. Church saying, hey,
Let's go,
Tom, we've
Noah.
landed very differently on one issue and curious to hear your take. 15 years ago, I went vegan for maximal health and have been very happy with that. How did you decide against plant-based and go heavy on meat?
So one, I think that health is largely an N of one experiment. So if you're thriving on a plant-based diet, hey, I'm here for that, man. If you feel good and you're not having to do crazy supplementation, I'm all for it. So my decisions have been based on a few things. One, I don't feel as good when I go high plant. And it's very possible I'm just not doing it well, for sure. I feel awesome when I go high meat. Also looking at some of the amino acid profiles and typical deficiencies that people have when they're on a plant-based diet doesn't make sense to me. Also, when I think about surviving in the wild, animal meat is going to be way more advantageous because it is so much more calorically dense than the vast majority of foods that you're going to be able to get from plant matter. So just when I think about, it seems pretty clear that we're omnivores. So we didn't eat only meat. But when you give people in the wild the option, they're going to go with meat. They're going to eat the liver first, all that kind of stuff. There's just like biological reasons why that would be true. Watch a season of Alone and you pretty quickly be like, yeah, people are going to go for that animal meat as fast as they can because of the caloric density. So it just makes sense from an evolutionary perspective. But again, this is N of one. If you feel awesome, keep doing yo thing.
We've got a super chat from Lyrith. Lyrith says, it says continued. Show headline thumbnail of the second video I posted. See the proof. The Iran is a proxy of Russia and Batia haters tell me how a Jew/Israel supporter against Hamas and Houthi proxies of Iran is a Russian asset. Third vid, let's talk strategy, please.
Okay, so I assume on
confused.
the strategy part, he's talking about what do we want? If we think that Trump has a bad strategy, what is the good strategy that we want to use? Everyone being a paid asset, that kind of stuff. Man, that just does not resonate with me. I have a hard time believing that. I mean, it seems like it would be ideological. I mean, look, it's certainly possible that her or anybody else is aligned with Russia's ideals and they're just trying to go to bat for them over time. I mean, that is certainly possible. There was nothing in what she said there, though, that I would extract from that and say, oh, this is obviously just Russian propaganda or ideals that align with Russia. So that part I don't track. And yes, I don't have anything that leads me to believe that Russia and Iran are ideologically allied, but there are certain things like tendency towards top-down authoritarian rule, but like Iran is very much a theocracy. Russia is not a theocracy. So there are like all these fundamental things that if you dig under the hood, you're going to realize, I think, you will realize that Russia and Iran are uneasy allies, and not like Russia and China, for instance, in the, call it 60s, where they were ideologically in lock fucking step. And I would say Russia and China are far more related than Russia and Iran. Though right now, obviously, from an uneasy alliance against America, that makes sense, that they're going to group up, do their BRICS thing. But that's very different than having the same ideological bent. Ipso facto.
Ipso facto.
Ipso facto.
All right. AI news. This like blew my mind. I was very excited to see this. OpenAI just launched an academy, and they're doing specific classes to kind of teach people how to get caught up with AI. There's been so much innovation, so much breakthroughs. We had a banger interview with Moga Dot that's dropping on Tuesday. You guys have to, like, that was so good. And you were talking about how AI is improving. It's doubling in power like every
5.9 months.
That's crazy.
Months.
That's crazy.
Dude, it is a meteorite screaming towards Earth. That is the right mental model to hold in your head. And I don't know if people just aren't using it. I don't know. But the more I engage with AI, the more I'm like, this makes me rethink. I'm not joking. It makes me rethink my entire professional life, where I'm like, are we doing the right things? Are we positioned well for the future? My wife had a bunch of very successful friends over last night, and all of us were like, we can't see the future clearly. So you've got the entrepreneurial class, if they're being honest, saying, yeah, I don't know how this plays out. And so like when I see in fact, what was her name? The one on the end with the green scarf?
Jillian Tett.
Jillian Tett. Trying to burn that into my mental model. When I hear her speak about the new polls that are coming out about people's fears around jobs, I'm like, there's no way that's driven primarily by Trump and not by AI. Trump couldn't hope in his wildest dreams to be as disruptive to the workforce as AI is going to be.
Wow.
I mean, just think, you've got the CEO of Anthropic saying that in the next 6 months, 90% of all code will be written by AI. And in the next 12 months, 99%. Dude, how many people code? It's a lot. It is a lot, man. So at Impact Theory, we've quietly had a policy of if somebody quits or we fire them, we don't replace them. We just use AI. So over the last year, we've shrunk in size and gotten more profitable. It's fucking crazy. So I'm like, even on our little scale, like this is pure insanity, what we're able to accomplish. Will, who runs ITU, was like, hey man, I want you to look at this webpage that I just made, this landing page. I'm like, wow, this is really good. And he's like, I did it in 20 minutes with AI. And I was like, fuck, I'm not surprised. It is fantastic, like well beyond his capabilities. But because he had AI, which is trained on all human knowledge, in 20 minutes, I am excited and terrified at the same time. I'm terrified because I just can't see what the world is going to be like. I can talk like a sci-fi writer, but I can't actually see what's going to happen. It's going to be.
Can you throw this up again,
disruptive.
Eric? I'm really banging this drum here because every video we get, hey, I don't know what AI does. How do I get like? They have events here for nonprofits. They have events here for older people. There's some baked in content.
This is OpenAI's new thing.
Yes, educators, please, guys, please learn about AI. If you don't like OpenAI Academy, somebody said Corsica has some stuff. I'm sure Khan Academy is doing some stuff.
ChatGPT will tell you how to use it.
They can do it, but please don't ignore this. Please don't ignore this because I think this is one of those things that kind of like the internet, kind of like the cell phone, where it's like, oh, that's the young kids thing. I don't know how to do it. And then now you're 70 trying to figure out how to send an email. And you're going to drive your kids crazy. You're going to keep calling them, and then they're going to be at work, and they're like, hey, Mom, I got to call you back. I can't tell you how to make a PDF right now.
Yeah.
That's not for personal experience.
This one's rough. Angela, crocheting is always good. So that's very helpful. Well played.
AI can't take that away.
Oh, it can and will. In fact, on that note, dude, pull up. It says AI surgery, AI remote surgery. So we just had AI perform surgery from God knows how many miles away. Here it is, a tumor removed via a robot controlled by a doctor somewhere else. This is insane. And that guy's job could not be more limited. In 10 years for sure, he's AI, 100%. You'd never let a human do this. No fucking way. This is so insane. So for anybody that's just watching, this is a doctor in a totally different location going in with a robot and performing surgery on a patient. I don't know how people, you just have to be ignoring it. People are just ignoring it. Because this is a one-way street that is going to change everything.
Evil Fandango said, and my mom said video games were a waste of time. That was great. That was a great line.
Yeah,
but
it's crazy. Did you know that doctors that play video games have a lower complication rate?
Wow.
Yes, dude. Video games. I get why the parents of my generation thought that they were wasteful. After that, there's just no logic. Your kid can get addicted to it. That's a very different statement. For sure, your kids will get addicted to dopamine loops, and so you do need to be careful with that. But to play a video game that is extremely difficult and then say, "Oh, this isn't doing anything for anything positive," is madness. Yeah. Anyway.
And there are different AIs that have different strengths and weaknesses. I saw somebody in the chat, I was trying to pull it up, said, I tried to use Claude to write and it was bad. I love Claude. That's my boy. He's more of a editor than a writer, whereas I feel like ChatGPT is more witty and punchier. I did like a writer's room thing where I had all my favorite like comedic writers and I would enter in a tweet and I'd be like, what would they, like, how would they pitch this tweet in their voices? So it kind of gave me like punchlines and angles from different things. And they were all like, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. But it didn't really like hit. And then you go into ChatGPT and ask it to make a joke and it's so much funnier. So just because one AI can't do one thing doesn't mean you like try them. It's almost like it's almost like a sport. Like some people love football, some people love basketball, people like sports for different reasons. Like whatever your passion is, there is an AI for that. So it's not just I tried ChatGPT, they all suck.
Also, I will say this. One, they get better by the day. So don't try it once a month ago and think that this is game over. But two, when I was working on the Mary Mod screenplay and I would say, hey, write this, like write the first act. And it was terrible. And I was like, uh-oh. What I found was that it is unbelievably skilled at outlining, catching holes in the plot, giving me ideas that I might otherwise be stuck on. I remember when I was writing Neon Future, dude, it would take me an entire week of like, call it 5 or 6 hours a day to get one issue out because you just hit these plot points where you'd be like, fuck, how do I solve that? Because you've got this Jenga tower and if you move one thing, it crumbles and you're like, God damn it. Now, when I run into that same problem, I can solve that problem in 35 minutes. You just do back and forth like, hey, I'm worried about this. Well, if we do that, it's going to cause this problem. And chat will go back and forth with you and be like, yes, that's a problem. And here's how it was solved in this movie. And okay, yeah, we'll pull that. And okay, have you thought about this? And yes, you can do that, but you're going to need to plant it here. It is unbelievably good at being a collaborator. It is not yet good at just like, I'll go do my thing. That is awesome. I wish that we could freeze AI from a creative standpoint. I wish we could freeze it right here because now I feel like I'm the thing that makes it good or bad that you could give. So I created a custom GPT for Coyotes of the Air Gap and I could give it to somebody who's not as talented of a writer as me and they won't be able to output the same thing. Even though they have access to the same GPT, they have access to all the same training documents, all of that. It's not going to output the same script that I can output with it in my hands. So the great news is that right now, it can't do it without you. It needs a human involvement. It needs somebody to be great, to steer it in the right direction. That's, from where I'm sitting, fantastic.
Skirber Derber said, honestly, I hope AI stays a collaborator. And I I want to bring this up because we talked in a couple lives ago where you were like, it's the exoskeleton that makes me feel like I can grab ideas or something like that. And I feel like that was the perfect way to describe it. Like, AI is not just going to pop out movies. And you know what I mean? Like, yes, but the thing that we need to realize now is, to your point, it took Tom 6 months to bang out one comic. Now with this partner, this tool, he could bang out 6 comics in 6 months. You know what I mean? Like, it scales whatever you can do. So even if you want to be a really good housewife, how can AI do my grocery list? What's the most optimal way to clean my house? Like, little things like that. I tried to clean a glass shower and I always have streaks. And I was like, yo, Claude, how, like, I got a shorty coming over tonight, Claude. I can't have a streaky shower.
Let's
like,
go.
Hook me up.
I like where this is headed. But it want to the friend zone. Even though the shower was clean, Drew. This is man.
The friend zone.
This is rough.
She seen the shower. I was like,
She
nah.
seen the shower. She said no.
But like, that's a ridiculous example. But like, yo, like if you just need help with something, it's something to help you think through ideas. So don't just think about that. Like, hey, AI, feed my kids. It's not going to do that. Like, but you need to use it to accelerate whatever you're actually passionate about.
Let your kids eat flat screens. Eunice, the light.
The light is on. Thank you.
The shower was clean.
We've got one from Jethro Ikitty saying, women like height, but face is more important than anything else. A bigger predictive thing is if he's handsome or not. Women only start looking at height if you're not handsome enough. Please check my link on Discord about this.
That's interesting. I don't know that that's going to be 100% accurate, but we'll let the ladies chime in here.
I feel like I'm the wrong person.
Would you go with a guy, let's say he's 5'2"?
No, don't think about it. Don't try to yes or no. If he's cute, I'll think about it. If he's not cute, it don't matter if he's 6'8".
Yeah, he has to be cute. Yeah, he's got to be cute.
She was licking her lips at the Timothée Chalamet video. Timothée Chalamet is 5'2". Come on.
They did a thing where it was like your height was related to the amount of money you had to make to be equal. So if a guy's 6 foot and makes 150K, that's the equivalent of a guy that's 5'5" and makes 350K. It was something like that. Those aren't the real numbers, but that was the idea, that there was an amount of money that a guy could make that would make up for his height. And so the shorter you were, the more money you had to make.
But also, if you can make me laugh right away, that's like the real zinger.
It's a good sign.
And that's my thing, is like a lot of dudes are like, I'm sure I don't got that much money, I suck. Where it's like, if you lead with confidence, you make them laugh, you make them feel safe, they stop asking about how much money you make.
But those are also very difficult things.
Yeah.
Making someone laugh is hard.
Yeah. That's why you just have to find your pocket. I remember we talked about,
go ahead.
Like, you don't have to be that person. It's what you thrive in. Just fish from that pond. Like, I feel like everybody wants to be the coolest guy in the club. Like, maybe you just go to a big store. You're a cafe guy. Stay in a cafe.
No, honestly, the best time I've ever been hit on is when I was doing the robot at a bar one time, like dancing, just goofing off with my friends. And a guy was like, that is the best dance move I've ever seen. And he started doing it with me. And I was like, wow. And we're just giggling and laughing. Obviously didn't go anywhere.
Was he 5'2"?
Why? Wait. Obviously because I'm not with him right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Why didn't it go anywhere?
It just, he didn't.
Where'd he fumble?
Yeah, I do want to play-by-play. Where did he drop the ball?
He fumbled because afterwards we were texting for a little bit, and then he just started getting a little weird. And
this has been a thing for you. I'm very sad that your map of guys, and I'm sure they've earned it, but that they go weird fast.
They do.
That makes me so
maybe
sad.
The thing is,
can you give me a couple of weird things so I know if this is a you thing or a them thing? And by the way, before you do that, so hold that in your mind. We still have the light on. Is the light
yes,
real?
We do have another super chat
about
AI.
Hit us with it.
It is from Sequoia Hall.
What's up,
Sequoia Hall says, my current take is that AI, regardless of which one, at its best can give you to a smooth a story, research, etc., and gives you no sharp edges or new thoughts to hold on to. It will give you an outline and make it yours.
Yes. And Lord knows I wish it would stay there. It's not going to, but I wish it would, because that's the thing that makes us feel so awesome, is that you get to have those unique insights, and then it helps you assimilate it. And so all the like Jenga towery stuff that you would historically have to do on your own and get stuck on and wish you had a writing partner and all that, all of a sudden it's like, nope, that goes away in minutes. minutes. It's crazy. But you have to know what part to push on. You have to have good taste. You have to have those insights. Word. Okay. You were about to tell us.
I was about to tell us.
It all went wrong because it got weird, and you were going to give us some concrete examples of when guys go weird.
Maybe I shouldn't say go weird, but they do go weird because they just try to move a little too fast for me. And by
to something sexual.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I was thinking that too.
And I'm not like that.
You're not a fast girl.
I'm not. No.
Okay.
I'm very let's build an emotional connection. Let's see if we're even there, mentally compatible, emotionally compatible.
Okay. What date is an appropriate time to start extending a sexual olive branch?
It all depends on where we are emotionally. I don't know. It's been different every time. It's not like all right, date 8, there we are.
Yeah, I don't think it's a time frame. I think it's a touch barrier.
Yeah.
When she starts touching you, then that means she likes you.
Okay, so we wait for her to touch the arm.
It's like, ha, 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 you're funny. Okay, she wants me to that equals date number next, like the next date +1. And then when it's like the lean in, and then have you guys even kissed yet? Like, I do know people who break bad sexual, like.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't do sexy flirting in text unless the arm has been touched?
Unless the arm, that's my, like, I'm not a woman, so I don't want to talk to you. But it's like, I need the green light before I start like breaking towards sex. In my past, when you try to break towards sex too soon, it's a wall, because then you become like, oh, you just want to have sex with me.
Yeah. Plus, also you can tell via text when a guy just wants to fuck you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when he's just not really interested in like getting to know you, and he's just like, all right, so when are we gonna hang out? You're like, oh.
So the hangout urgency.
The urgency, and also like the not even trying to like get to know you or like what you're about or your likes, dislikes, interests, the future at all.
Also, and when you invite you to the house.
Future talk?
Well, future as in like, hey, like.
When are we going to hang out?
No, as in like, do you want to have like a long career in this, or like, hey, like.
Got it. Your future, not a shared future.
Not a shared future, but just
got
like
it. You were scaring
personally.
me for a second.
No, I'm not talking about marriage on the second date.
That's best.
You know what I mean? But it's like
that is the reverse of guys going for sex too fast. Yeah.
But it's like, I do want to know more about you. And it's like, do you have a goal? What do you want to do? Like, how are you in general? So.
All right.
Also, stop inviting women to your house after you guys just.
Yeah, that's all. That's another thing too. It's like the minute that you try to ask me on a date and it's like, just come over, I'm like, oh.
Wait. The guy that cleaned his shower on a first date is saying don't invite women back to your pad?
That wasn't a first date. I went with that because that was a joke. So I felt like the joke has to land. You got to do it for the show. That was a way different situation a couple months ago. But
got it.
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough.
I am a gentleman. Okay, I don't do things like that on the first date.
Chue said, Tom, Eunice wants custom written poetry on the first date.
No, she doesn't. Even if she tells you she does not. I assure you, I've run the experiment. Trust me when I say.
Most of the business said, girly seems uptight. Maybe I am, but I'm just not looking to have sex right away. And maybe I want someone to have a long-lasting relationship with.
Yeah, I don't see.
And I have standards. I'm sorry. I'm not looking for someone who's just trying to pump and dump.
Also, pump and dump. I hated everything about that sentence. Somebody being uptight, if that's their vibe, that's their vibe. Do your thing.
Lisa has the stat that you were looking for.
Oh my God, Lisa's outing me. How dare you?
I missed that part. I was at the top at the stat. I need to scroll down.
She is outing me hard. Oh, that's just mean.
Oh,
that is just mean.
So you did shoot your shot on the first date. Let's talk about it. Forget this stat. Look, that's way more interesting. Let's go.
Okay, so I would just like the record to reflect that. Did I intend? So I didn't have any rule against it. And still don't to this day. If there's chemistry and you want to make a move, do your thing. But the way that our first date played out was she and I we'd known each other already because she was at the school. And so there was already some amount of built-in trust. And so she knew about me that I was like, listen, I'm not a player. Like, I'm not that guy. I've just never had game, blah, blah, blah. All the things you guys have heard me say 1,000 times. But when I say that date was electric, I mean, it was unreal. And so there was like, the dinner, which was already amazing. Now, remember, we already know each other, but the dinner was incredible. And we're having like this amazing conversation. Then we go to see a movie, which was our first connection point. She was at a film school. I was teaching film, obviously, huge passion for it. We go to my friend's film, was debuting, and she was fucking hilarious. Like, you're going to out me, I'll out you. She said yes and no to a bread roll like 8 times. It was the funniest glitch I've ever seen a human being do because she was afraid to eat more in front of me. So she's eating like really light at the Chinese restaurant. Then we get to the film and they've got a buffet and I'm like getting more stuff. And they're like, would you like a roll? And she's like, no, thanks. Actually, yes. No, I don't want. Okay, yeah. No, oh, God, give me a roll. And I was like, what is happening? So I was in hysterics. So now we're like, there's just this fun vibe. We are clicking hardcore. She's been leaning in. I've been leaning in, like all the cues that you could give this. Oh, you niggas here. So come hither. And if I say a false word, you by all means chime in. So
I was getting ready.
you were so far off mic.
What's up, everybody? I was getting ready and I started to listen to this conversation. I was like, oh, I gotta tell.
I gotta rat my husband out.
What part are you up to? I was listening, but I
the
couldn't.
roll.
When
You
kept
saying yes
denied.
and no to the roll.
Yeah, so sadly, I had a very
This was funny.
unhealthy relationship with my in-frame. Let me sit on your lap.
You're making it dark. To me, it was hysterical.
I was like, I had a bad
She's like, I have
relationship.
an eating disorder.
Unfortunately, I did. And then on top of that, I was like, but I'm in front of a guy. You don't eat in front of a guy. But did you already say that when we were out for dinner, he's like, yeah, I don't sleep with women on the first date. And I was like, oh, that's so refreshing.
I should have been more clear. I have not yet been able to sleep with
I
a
was
lot of
21 years old. So when he said that, I took it as truth.
That was true.
Then he invites me back to his place. I was like, well, he doesn't sleep with a woman on the first date, so I'm fine. And then at 3 a.m, you start to make the move. We were talking, I mean, we had the most amazing, I know you said this, electric first date, but we were up and you didn't read me some of your poetry, which was amazing. And we had such an amazing time. But then you definitely made a move. I was like, I thought you didn't make your move. Luckily, I had tip to any women out there. You may hate this tip, but when I was so sexually attracted to you, that concern of I didn't want to sleep with you on the first date because I didn't want to be like that woman. I don't know what that woman is because now I'm just like, hey, ladies, do you? But I was like, but I didn't want to succumb to my sexual desires. So you don't shave your legs. That's the trick. As a woman, you don't shave your legs because no matter how much sexual attraction you have, you're like, oh shit, I can't have him see my hairy legs. It was a game changer. It helped me. And then of course, it worked out in the end.
It did, but we did not sleep together on the first date, much to my dismay.
No, we didn't.
But it's probably, honestly, probably for the best.
Well, we actually did sleep.
Yes.
We just didn't have sex.
We slept
And you
together.
froze me out with the, I went bored people with.
Froze you out.
With the air
Oh,
conditioning.
literally.
You hugged all the covers.
Yeah,
temperature-wise.
sorry,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
emotionally. By the way, I don't know if you guys saw the stat.
Or
I
your
heard you
kitty,
guys,
somebody said.
I heard you guys
Or
talking.
shaving, by the way.
So
You're not going to acknowledge that?
What was
It
it?
said, don't shave the kitty.
Oh,
So I thought it was hilarious.
you always got to keep.
Yeah,
that
there
one
was that
shape.
thing. One of my friends was like, men think that when a woman has matching panty sets, that they were like, oh, she just put it all together. It's like, no, she was planning this the whole time. Like, women know when they're going to be.
Oh yeah, you've got your grandma underwear that you wear when you know you're completely safe.
Somebody scandalized that I was your teacher.
Oh my god, yes,
Yeah.
in a different era. All right, so I got some stats because I did some relationship episodes.
Hot girl summer.
And it was about height and how picky men are compared to how picky women are. I heard you guys talk about it, so I pulled up my stat. So 80% of women want to date a man over 6 foot, when only 15% of men are actually over 6 foot. To be as appealing as a 5'10" man, at 5'9", so just 1 inch shorter, you have to make an extra $40,000 a year to be seen as equal. If you're 5'4", to be seen as equal to a 5'10" man, equal as in like sexual attraction, you have to earn, ready, $229,000 more, than a 6 foot man. So from a 6 foot man to a 5'4" guy, you have to earn $229,000. God damn.
That's crazy.
That's rough.
That is rough.
Scrivener said, eat the tall.
Eat the tall. I'm with that. I'm with that.
That is fantastic. I love that.
All right, so I heard you guys. I was on my way down anyway, so I thought I'd pop in.
There you go. Well, thank you.
Love what you guys are
Saga
doing.
Popoli.
Keep it up.
Calimera
you.
sauce.
Yeah, look at that.
Who said that?
Me.
Oh, you just learned it?
Calimera sauce.
She's so good.
She is indeed.
Saying good morning.
Who are you pointing at?
No, I was pointing at
Where
it was coming from.
You nice.
Yeah.
All right, later, guys.
Yasu.
That was fun. I do still think that AI is just going to eat up all this, and we're just dating apps are going to soon. There are going to be AI bots on the dating apps, and then before you know it, it's just going to be AI bots swiping with other AI bots, and then humans.
All
just,
right, I
It's
can't
gonna
let
be
this
like
one go
her.
without being acknowledged. Tuition. No, try to say that. Life is a game of inches for men. A
Hey.
little too true. A little too true. Just make more money, says Will Vu. Let him know, Will.
And Will can help you make more money if you
Oh!
for the BDCEO program. If you go to tombilyeu.com, you can go ahead and sign up and learn how to make more money for your business.
Let's go.
done.
Let's go. You trailed off a little at the end, Eunice. I'm not going to lie. But that was great.
I lost my
I'm
confidence.
very-
I lost my confidence.
I was very impressed. Very impressed. It's all true. And Will, thanks. you.
Skirbitor, but yes, we are still. Please look at the announcement. Look at the support at impacttheory.com.
Yes, we are
Word.
overwhelmed by the support that the community has, leaving comments, giving us tips and tricks. Hey, we're trying this live thing. The community is learning, so we're just trying to get help as all. Since you guys have been such a resource to us, instead of us getting some stranger to get in, if people in the chat have resources or gifts that they can help us out with, we would love to partner, work together. We're looking for an editor right now. We have a bunch of other roles on the website as well too, but yes, we put a link in the Discord to way to contact to like send some clips and stuff over. So let us know.
Let's go.
Info in the Discord under announcements.
We have 2 super chats
Let's
before we
do
wrap up
it.
this
Yeah,
little area
super chat.
here that relate to this. Jethro says, you just need to be taller than her. So
Thanks,
the average
mostly
height
business.
of women is 5'5", so taller than 5'5", but if you're 5'6" and up is what is more important is your face. The video on the Discord shows a handsome 5'6" guy having no problem. Another one by Jethro. Thank you, Jethro, again.
Let's go.
The thing is, the taller you are, the less handsome you have to be. That is the actual truth. I see super pretty boys that are 5'6" that have no problem. There are many tall men that struggle with women, if not handsome.
Interesting. Yes, but I would say, and I thought this is what you were saying, that being taller means you get a little bit of grace on the face. And that strikes me as true.
Yeah, so he's saying
all
that
balance.
if you're short and handsome,
Yeah. If
You
you're
have no
short, you better
problem.
be good looking and wealthy, apparently.
Yes, and then Ricardo, I never actually saw the link. He said that Runaway AI just dropped a new video creation tool, and it actually has fixed character consistency in video.
Runway, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't played with it yet, but I saw some of the stuff coming out. I'm going to guess that it goes something like this. As long as the character is realistic, that's not necessarily true. So you have to give them a reference photo. This makes me really want to try it because you know the thing I care about is our comics and stuff. If they can do Lexi's helmet and they can make it, Jesus Christ, if that's AI, fucking hell.
Oh yeah, this is one of them.
That just looks so real. My brain is telling me that that girl exists somewhere in the world.
Now imagine when they turn her into a robot and they could deliver it to your house for $49.99.
Jesus, this is crazy. The glasses give it away though. You can see that it changes as she pulls it
yeah.
over her head. But she looks real. Here we go, some anime. I'd be very curious to know if this is all entirely, man, this is the thing that makes me go, do I just stop doing everything that isn't creating with AI? This is incredible. Holy bejesus.
Man,
Wow.
yeah, AI is going to take over the world. Okay.
But like AI is taking over the world today. This is not a future thing. This is 2025 is the year. 2025 is the year that it becomes visceral, that people start losing their jobs, that everybody realizes, oh, damn, like this really is something that will be so disruptive that we can't imagine, not as hyperbole, that we can't imagine what the world is going to be like. That failure of imagination is going to create a lot of anxiety. This is crazy. This was what the episode was about with Mo Gadot, is you've got Cold War with China happening right as AI is changing everything. This is such a moment of instability. People are really going to have a hard time with this, man. And when humans are scared, they do crazy shit. So, yeah, it's about to get real.
I got 2 more things, and then I'm gonna let you guys go. All right.
Are we there already?
We're getting close to it, but these next things are gonna be interesting. I want to start with the meme. The Switch 2 was just announced.
Yeah.
$449 was the base price, but everybody is up in arms because Mario Kart is selling for $80 for an actual game, and then the physical copy is going to be $90.
Yep.
And then somebody tweeted this meme, and I just felt hilarious to me. This is from
Great show.
At Nano Gen X. Rockstar watching all of us react to Mario Kart being $80, knowing they about to drop GTA 6 for $100. So like video game prices are theoretically rising. Somebody put 5 games is the price of a console.
Yeah.
Hearing it like that made it kind of crazy to me. I know inflation, all that other buzzwords, but I'm like, isn't this for kids? Like, I feel like asking my parents for a $500 console already is a lot, and then asking them to pay $80 for a game.
I don't understand this reaction. This is so bizarre to me.
You just think like it is what it is.
No, it creates an opportunity in the market. If you are a game developer, all you now have to do is lower your price. There are so many indie games out there that if this is the fuck Mario Kart moment, then it's the fuck Mario Kart moment. Like if the market actually is not willing to bear that, there are so many games. There's a wall of games. That wall of games is going to increasingly be smashing you as AI gets better and better. I saw a tri-layer parallax effect created in a one-shot prompt from Claude or Grok. Sorry, I forget which one, but one of those two. And I was like, holy shit. Games are about to be free. So if these guys are doing some sad last-minute attempt to grab cash, it is going to blow up in their face. So my thing is, listen, nobody is entitled to play Mario at the price they want to pay. The companies are going to charge whatever the fuck they think they can get away with. And if it was the only video game in the world and it was like, I either don't get to play video games and this is like my only way, then I would get like the anger. But there is an onslaught of incredible games that are, I mean, you can find free to play games. Mm-hmm. If you haven't tried Project Kaizen, go to projectkaizen.io. It's free to play. So this is creating opportunities in the market. As a player, there's tons of games. As a game maker, this is your shot. So I don't resonate with I'm mad that the very specific thing that I want to be cheaper isn't cheaper, even though I have like this entire smorgasbord of shit that's free that I can go play. But people really do get mad about this. So once again, I am out of step with the like standard emotion, but nonetheless think it's a nonsensical way to view the world.
I bought my daughter a Switch 3 years ago for Christmas. I bought her a Switch, bought her a couple games. It ran me like $600-700 because it was still in the pandemic, like all in.
And so what was driving that? It was, but these are the games she wants.
When I take my daughter to play like twice and never picked it up again, I was heartbroken.
Which game?
I was trying to turn her into a video gamer. I got Let's Go Pikachu. It came with Star Fox. And there was a third game, Zelda. Breath of the Wild, yeah.
That's going to be a tough one to get a first-time gamer in, though.
Yeah,
and
that was the one she was more into than. So the Pokemon she like ran through, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm into it. So I feel like it was one of those like pass the sticks. So we were like playing it together. Breath of the Wild, we did pass the sticks, then she got really into it, and then she got hit. I think she like couldn't get past one of the shrines, and then just was just like, yeah, I'm over it. But Unease, as a resident gamer, like $80 price tags, you all in, you love this, like.
I'm not saying that I love it. Listen, I have a huge bias for Nintendo. As I've said before, I'm a Nintendo. Okay?
Whoa. All right, then. Can we get that on a shirt?
I love Nintendo. But when I think about it, think about when you play a Nintendo game, right? Think about when you're playing Mario Kart. There's like no bugs. There's like they put their whole heart and soul into that game, right? And it's iconic. the memes, the gameplay, the things that they added. They were still adding DLC. You know what I mean? I don't know.
So you don't love it, but you're not mad.
Yeah. And by saying I don't love it, it's also because like, yeah, okay, yeah, I got to pull out $80 to buy a game, whatever. Yeah, that's crazy. When I could also just like, I also have a PC and I play on my PC all the time, and I could go on Steam, and Steam sales are crazy. It's like $1 for a $70 game.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? But it's like, but I feel like those are two uneven comparisons, because if I really want to go all in on just gaming and power and specs, obviously it's the PC.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to go for my 3070 graphics card, which is not that great anymore. It was at the time. But yeah, what about when 5 games you want to drop at the same time, all for $80? Then
It's called an embarrassment of riches.
Then I will just buy whatever I want at the time.
Exactly.
What do you mean embarrassment of riches?
That if your biggest problem in life is that there are 5 Nintendo games out that you want and they're all $80 and that's too expensive, it's like, aren't you glad that you get to choose between these games? Like I remember, so growing up, I was the kid that got the generic off-brand skateboard and was mortified because I got made fun of all the time while the other kids were skating their Powell boards and I was skating the fucking Kmart board. I'm not kidding. But it's like, I still get to skateboard. So
yeah,
I get it. I didn't have the cool shit. And as a kid, that's not fun. I understand. First of all, my parents wouldn't let me have a Nintendo. But I had a friend who his mom was not in great shape. And so they were on disability, lived in a trailer park. And I remember when she got her disability check, we got to go pick one game from the Nintendo games because they're so fucking expensive back then. I mean, they were like $30 or $40. Like, this is the fucking 80s, man. That shit was like, it felt like a gazillion dollars. Mm-hmm. And it was like, oh my God, you had to pick. And you were sitting there lamenting because, of course, you could only get one. You couldn't afford all the others. And once you got it, you were fucking stuck. There was no Steam. It was just, you couldn't even go rent a video game. So it was like, that was it. Hope you choose wisely. And so I don't, like, in a world where there's a game like Fortnite that you can play for fucking free, there's a game like Minecraft you can get for like $12. Like, it's outrageous. And people are mad. I don't understand. That feels like a weird way to approach the world.
Update on game dev with Kaizen. Have you guys started being?
It's triggering me emotionally.
Ooh. Let's not talk about it.
Yeah, to the point where yesterday, legitimately, in fact, Eunice, are you okay? I actually wanted to ask you. The good thing is you act as like this interesting balancing mechanism for my personality. Yeah. Because I'm like, I don't want to scare her. But this is like where the meeting was yesterday.
Oh.
Are you okay?
Oh, I'm fine. Listen, I'm in there to be like, what are we prioritizing, baby?
Yes, but you did go very quiet.
Because I'm listening to you guys.
Also, you thought I was unhinged.
I didn't think you were unhinged. I knew your emotional reaction was coming from a place of where it was coming from.
And let's just, I'm like, let's air our dirty laundry. So,
yeah, so you
I
guys
look
can do
up in
that,
the sky.
But I'm not going to get involved in you guys airing your dirt. That's why I was quiet. I'm like,
that makes me feel better. I was worried that you were like deeply uncomfortable.
I would tell you when I'm uncomfortable.
I appreciate that very, very much. Okay, so here's what happened yesterday.
Oh no, he's about to air it out again.
Yeah, of course. I don't understand. People are so weird about talking about things. I don't know. I'm going to live and die by it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I look up at the sky.
Making a game.
Say that again.
Behind the scenes of making a video game.
To me, if you're going to go on YouTube, let's talk about some things. If you hit a thing that I'm not willing to talk about, I'll say I'm not willing to talk about it, but I'm not just going to lie. So I look up in the sky and I see AI screaming at me like a meteorite. And I've put, by the time it comes out, it'll probably be close to $10 million into this game. And so listen, if it flops, it's not the end of the world. From a lifestyle perspective, I'm not even going to notice it. But nonetheless, $10 million is a lot of fucking money. Mm-hmm. And we're in a race against AI, I believe. This will partly explain to you my feelings about why people look at an $80 video game and are having a stroke. Video games are basically about to become free. People will be able to prompt them. There will be just a wall of entertainment. And much like what happened to my beloved filmmaking, which became basically irrelevant, the same thing is going to happen to all these big games. It just won't be like that anymore. It's going to be a totally different world. So I'm like, hey, our one shot to get this sort of legacy approach to video games out into the world in the hopes that we can leverage that to build momentum so that we're in the future obviously going to have to add to our game in the way that everybody else is building their game. But I do want to use what we've built as a moat, as close to the right answer as possible, to start building awareness of what we're doing. And so I'm like, guys, you're moving way too fucking slowly. And because here's what happened in the meeting. I walk in, I've built this whole GPT for them so that they can ask it any question they want, and they're going to get back an answer so that they can never say that we're waiting on you or we didn't have clarity. That was the big thing I was trying to address. And so I said, hey, guys, I built this GPT. If you have any questions, come and ask me, and I'm going to write it into the documentation so that everybody instantly has that answer, and you guys can prompt it, and it will tell you exactly what to do in literally every scenario. Instead of doing that, Drew, they invite me into a meeting where they didn't want to say it, but basically, Tom, we think that some of your ideas are shit and we have better ideas. And so in my attempts to gain clarity, I was like, is that what you guys are saying? Anyway, whole bunch of words to say that they didn't have clarity on what they were doing. I had given them a ton of clarity. I had given them all the leeway in the world to work without me, like micromanaging and being in their shit all the time. And they fucked it up. And they admit that they fucked it up and that they were aimless and that I have needed to come back in and be like a fucking psychopath, be like, where the fuck are we? What are we doing? What is this week about? What have you accomplished? Like all the hardcore shit that I tried not to be that guy. They admit that's necessary. We did not make use of the time where you gave us essentially the ability to go as this young, hungry, creative team, like what can we prove to the world? They didn't make use of that time, at least not to any reasonable standard in my estimation. And as the person being asked to pay for this. So anyway, when they came with more lack of clarity, I was like, fuck this. And I was admittedly very aggressive. So that brings you current. I think we are still going to get there. Yay. And it's going to be amazing. And we are closer than ever because I'm willing to come in and be a sociopath. But I don't want to pretend that that level of aggression is not a caustic device. And I wanted to check in with Eunice, and admittedly, immediately after the meeting, she seemed fine. Now, in the meeting, midstream, she can either confirm or deny. I was like, this aggression is not serving me anymore. I've made my point. So I'm going to do what I do in my marriage, and I'm going to shake it off, and I'm going to let go, and we're going to now get back. What's the logic? What are we trying to do? Blah, blah, blah. All the things you guys know about me. So I don't know if that just gave everybody what they needed to calm down and refocus and do their thing. But I wish mostly business. We're not there yet.
That's to say it's going great.
No, I want to.
I'm
still extremely optimistic.
No, I want to ask because we were talking about this a couple weeks ago as the channel is making is going into uncharted territory.
Yep.
I had to take, I leaned back and I was like, you know what, Tom? I gained a new sense of respect for you because I think sometimes we're literally in this darkness, in this great smoke, and we're trying to find a North Star, and we don't necessarily know if we're going to find that North Star, but we're trying to, it's like we jump off of a cliff and we're like, okay, we're about to land into a spring, but you don't know you're going to land into a spring. You just hope you're going to land there, but you still have to jump. And that amount of holy shit, success, or holy shit, I just lost $10 million. So there is that. How do you ground people into approaching, how do you think through that problem? Because people are probably doing that, whether they should go to college, whether they should marry that person. How do you gain that skill? And then how do we apply that skill in other areas of lives?
First principles. There is nothing other than that. And this is why part of my frustration with them yesterday was I was just looking for clarity. Are you saying this? They would quite literally say, no, I'm not saying that. And then they would proceed to put a whole bunch of words on yes. And I was like, that is a pet peeve, admittedly. So anyway, you have to think from first principles. You have to know this is where I'm trying to end up. And this is the logic where I see cause and effect. And if I could get everybody, myself included, I am making this appeal to myself as strongly as anybody else, just an absolute obsession over when you do a thing, there's a reaction. And when you can predict the outcome of your actions, this is why I talk about predictive validity, when you can say, if I do this thing, I will get this outcome. Then if I do this thing, I will get this outcome. Then if I do this thing, I will get this outcome. And I can paint all these pictures of doing these things lead to that outcome. Then it's like, cool, I at least have a constellation. When I look up at the stars, I see this picture. Now, I know there's going to be a flaw in my sense of cause and effect because I don't have the ability to think perfectly from first principles. Nobody does. We don't even know the fundamental laws of physics. So there's going to be what I call the physics of progress, where you're going to try something, you get an outcome that you didn't expect. So then it's like, okay, I have mismapped reality. Given that I've mismapped reality, I've now got to update that thing. This is why I beg of people to tell me what they think is wrong about my thinking. Now, here's the thing that probably drives people crazy. Your thinking is fucked too. So I'm not just going to go like, oh, whatever you tell me is true. But I'm going to say, okay, let me look back at myself or my set of logic with that. And does that, you guys have heard me explain this 1,000 times, but looking backwards, would that have been a higher utility view than my own view? If it was, then I'm like, ooh, there's something here. Let's keep going. The only way to get there is to care so much about the outcome that you're willing to face that you're currently stupid. And so like right now, I don't know what people are saying in chat, but every day there are people that are calling me fucking retarded, stupid, blah, 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 blah. And I don't mind, because my whole thing is I care so much about that outcome that I'm perfectly happy to embarrass myself. I'm perfectly happy for traditional wisdom to look at me and go, this guy's an idiot. Because the thing that I know is that I actually can learn this, but to learn it, I have to accept that I don't currently understand it well enough. And that's just where I live. And so you live on this repeat. But there, guys, let's talk about something that this should probably become a button. VMG. Velocity made good. This is the thing. When you look at an Elon Musk and Alexander Hamilton, whoever has done said extraordinary thing, they're able to overcome what I call the chaos machine. Life is the chaos machine. Lynn is an agent of the chaos machine. The cost of a Nintendo game is the chaos machine. Tariffs are part of the chaos machine. The human propensity to make decisions based on emotion is a part of the chaos machine. The second law of thermodynamics is that the chaos machine exists, that things move towards disorder. They never move towards order unless energy has been pumped into the system. You can take that literally, but you can also take that as a metaphor. What I was doing in the meeting with the team, the whole point of me now coming in and doing what will look more micromanagey, I still give them a ton of space, but micromanaging is somebody inserting energy into the system. Very directional, precise energy designed to achieve a specific outcome. And it is so hard. So for instance, in that meeting, I'm having to map each of the people in the room because they're all reacting differently. So one guy is worried that I now don't trust in his abilities, which isn't true, but I've got to address that. First of all, I have to recognize that's how he's mapping what's happening. So I need the emotional jolt, but I need to hold in my mind, here's how I felt in the room. I am, she's not going to like this word, but this is honest. I'm scaring Eunice. And that she is the one that I worry. The boys can handle the aggression, the getting beaten up. That's probably the right way to think about that. I mean, they were getting beaten up. I was beating them up. They're more likely to be able to handle it constitutionally. This is my evolutionary thinking. Worried about Eunice. She has corrected me. So cool. I'm updating my mental map there.
Well, also to piggyback off that, I've come up to you personally and been like, I don't like when you speak to me that aggressively.
Yes.
And I've told you in person.
100%.
So when you're getting that aggressive, I'm like, oh, he is
mad respect for that. Yeah. But because I have that information, I know that this is sort of likely how it's playing out. So anyway, one guy thinks, you don't believe in my talents anymore. And if that were true, that's devastating. And he's going to break and become a pair of hands and will become useless. So I'm going to have to address that. The person that was most needing to be affected was probably affected exactly the way that I wanted him to be. And he made those mouth noises in the meeting. And then I felt like I needed to check in on Eunice after the fact. So anyway, this is all the chaos machine. Like you've got to map all that. You have to be accurate enough. so that you can keep things moving forward. So you're using tools that fix some things, but they break other things. And so now you have to go deal with all that. Velocity made good. And this is why when I'm teaching entrepreneurs, I want to scream at the top of my fucking lungs. It is not good enough to be a good person. That doesn't build a high functioning business. You have to understand all the complexities. And when people act like life isn't a competition, that, as somebody that wants to help people, that is so maddening to me because it has low predictive validity.
It's not going to help you do things, push you forward, make better decisions.
Do you want me to keep going, or have we reached the terminus of this?
No, I feel like you are cooking right now, personally.
Okay.
I do want you to clarify first principles, because I feel like we understand that clearly, but just like, what is first principles, if you can say it in one sentence?
The universe operates on a set of rules. Those rules are understandable. When you operate in alignment with those rules, things go the way you expect. When you operate against those rules, you cannot get directional energy, momentum.
Love it.
I could have stopped at the universe operates on a set of rules, because you did say a single sentence.
No, but that at least grounded if people are confused about that. Yeah.
So sorry, one more little
I'm getting a bunch of keep goings in the chat.
So thinking from first principles is about the following. You're going to do things in accordance, not with emotion, but with an understanding of what the set of rules that the universe operates on are. That's actually first principles.
Take emotion aside, understand what the rules are.
Of cause and effect.
Evaluate the ramifications of those rules, and then move forward.
Yeah, act in accordance with cause and effect.
Yeah. And
what people do instead is emotions make dots feel like they connect that don't actually connect. I always wonder if people understand what I mean by that. The number of times I see people feel like, every time somebody says I'm dumb, what I'm looking for is connect the dots, explain why I'm dumb. Because what you're going to find is you have a feeling to the thing I'm saying. You don't have a string of logic. But if they can attack my string of logic, then I'm like, oh, okay, then there really might be something here. But just because you feel like I'm dumb does not mean that there isn't a string of logic.
I love that. Kit Moon grounded us with this question. I'm just curious to know if it was a roadmap with timelines that weren't meeting, that they weren't being met, or if the quality of output wasn't what you wanted.
Both.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, both.
Yeah. I am not unclear.
Copy.
Word. All right. Well, hey there. Let's reset that energy, shall we, boys and girls?
Okay. I'm going to put on my tinfoil hat.
Really fast before you put on the tinfoil hat.
It looks good on me.
This is such a fascinating experiment that we are running right now. I'm so curious to see if this goes anywhere. It'll be interesting, because this didn't work for me in Hollywood. I said, I'm going to make my reputation based on I will always tell you exactly what I'm thinking. And it didn't work. It was like pure implosion. And so now I'm doing it again on YouTube. And I really wonder if people wouldn't prefer to come here for the equivalent of taking a drug that makes them feel a very predictable way. And that's the only thing I don't have on offer. But my highest belief is that that will always work better. I fear that that's true. I have this small glimmer of hope that I can still build, because I want to be the GOAT, the greatest to ever get on a microphone. Boy, am I unsure that will play out. We'll see. Here it is, the experiment, live before your very eyes.
Ricardo, predictive validity is a fancy way of saying inferencing, which is, in this case, is pretty ambiguous, because success can mean different things to different people.
Yes, but that is not the right way to think about it. The right way to think about it is success can be clearly defined and the criteria either met or not met. So I'm not telling people that's not true. Fulfillment is what you should pursue. I just believe that to the core of my existence, but that's based on my value system. But anyway, you can say this is what the end goal looks like, and we're either there or we're not, based on a set of KPIs that are measurable.
I think we got a button.
We've got a button.
Let's go.
We've got a super chat from Lyrith.
Super chat. Lyrith?
This was regarding the game topic. Says, sponsor Asmongold to playtest the current alpha, promote how to support the indie project that is, and get Mad Mushroom, OTK publisher, to be a backer as well. They will not take any ownership or creative license from you.
Don't know about Mad Mushroom. We'll have to look into them. Once we are at a stage where the game is not a comedy routine, I love the idea of going to Asmongold. But the first thing that we need to do, the next step is going to be the thing that we're racing towards, is getting our community that loves us despite our limitations and foibles, that will play it and give us feedback that is constructive without us burning our reputation. You don't want the first thing the wider world who does not know you or give a shit about you to see a game that's got bugs, that's ugly, because when you're designing a game, you want to do art and gameplay separate. I've learned that lesson the hard way. So the game looks like 10 pounds of ass, but it's starting to play better and better. So we'll see. But yes, eventually that'd be awesome. I love that.
Some biddies real quick from Straw Hat saying, speaking of playing video games to improve your life, we are playing Project Kaizen tonight around 4 p.m. PST. So join them in the Discord.
Let's go.
Let's go.
In the Discord. And a super chat from Patrick Wrightson.
Yeah,
Patrick, thank you for your super chat. Patrick says, man, hate to say it, but as I gaze out at the chat, ... I'm getting those Bolsheviki heebie-jeebies again. But keep fighting the good fight, Tom. Flex arm emoji.
Yeah, I do worry that right now the Bolsheviki vibes are strong in the West. Very strong. We got Ronan the Collector again. What's up, brother? It's good to see you again. Yeah.
Can I put my tin hat?
Yeah, sorry. You tried. Let's put it on.
This is one thing, okay? Because I feel like when I heard this, it kind of broke one of my base assumptions is everything is made up. I think.
Can you give me another sentence on that?
Society is made up. Everything
in the way that money's made up.
No, yes, like it's a
or
construct.
the way that people spin and lie.
No, it's like it's a construct.
Got
like,
it.
There
Okay.
was a population without this thing, then we introduced this thing, and then it became the norm 100
Got
years
it.
later. Now
Yep,
we
yep.
think it always used to be.
Okay.
I seen this TikTok about the calendar, and it kind of radicalized me a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
Hey,
I'm
man.
glad you're playing this because
Happy
you
New
tried to
Year.
explain this to me
Bro,
yesterday, and I was so confused.
New Year's was
So
months
I just
ago.
thought it was interesting. So let me.
All right, from the beginning.
Boom.
That's what they want you to think. What do you mean?
I'm
The
catching
real
a
New Year
crazy delay
starts
right now.
in New Year. Bro, New Year's was months ago. That's what they want you to think. What do you mean? The real New Year starts in the spring when everything wakes up. At least that's how it's always been until the Gregorian calendar messed everything up. So how did the Gregorian calendar mess things up? Pope Gregory introduced the Gregorian calendar not to keep time, but to remind folks when to pay taxes. That's why it's called calendar, because in ancient Rome, calends was the day that debts were recorded. Wait a minute. You're saying the calendar was built for taxes? Exactly. And the whole system got thrown off earlier when Julius Caesar and Augustus decided they wanted their own months. That's how we got July and August. Well, why is February so short? Because Augustus wanted his month to be just as long as Julius's, so he stole a day from February. So they reshuffled time to feed their egos. Here I thought they made February short because they were just racist towards Black History Month. But this makes more sense. And that's not even the craziest part. Have you ever noticed the months don't even truly line up to their names? Think about it. September, Septem, 7, but it's the 9th month. October, Octo, 8, but it's the 10th month. November means 9, but it's the 11th month. December, Deca, 10, but it's the 12th month. So they really out here just messing things up. If the calendar was actually accurate, we would have 13 months, not 12. But why 13? Because it follows the natural cycles of the moon's 28 days, which also corresponds to women's menstrual cycles. You see, ancient cultures had it right. They based their calendar based off the moon and the cosmos, not taxes. So every month would be 28 days. Exactly. And the first day of every month would always land on the same day of the week. So we're really just out here living in a system designed to confuse us. And now you see why they call it April Fool's Day.
And now you see.
That's pretty
why-
good, man. Now, obviously, I'd have to look at
Fact check
everything.
all of
But
that.
yeah. But from an internal logic, it's pretty dope.
In
It's pretty dope.
astrology,
It's very interesting.
the
Here we go.
astrological New Year is also in the spring.
Really? I mean,
So-
that makes sense. It is the period of renewal.
You wouldn't start
I'm
the
here
new
for it.
year in the winter, like because
I'm here for it. Would you be down to switch to 13 months?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I like change. That'd be fun. I'm here for 13 months.
You're saying, are you saying that sarcastically?
No.
Or not? Oh.
I actually think there's something in my brain that whatever problem people have with change, I lack that neuron. And so for me, I like change. Change is fun.
Can we get that link in the chat to that video?
Yes, I'll drop it. And the 364 days, I'll get the link. I'm gonna mess it up. Because everybody's saying that would only give us 364 days. Technically, we're missing a day. We're already technically missing a day because how the world.
Do they mean every year though? If we're missing a day every year, that would be a problem that would need to be addressed.
No, they're saying if we did 13 times 28, it'll be 364 days. We'll be missing a day if we went to a 13th month. But technically, we're not. It's not a year around the sun. It's 364 days. Or it's not 365 days. It's a different.
But it's like 365.25.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
that's why every 4 years you have a leap year. But I'm saying that being off by 0.25 is better than being off by a full day. You would have to address it. You don't want to be off by 1.25 days.
So you're saying
year.
when we go around the sun, it's 3.5. Because a leap year is an extra year.
This is one you should just ask chat because I'm going to do the whole Sputnik thing again and get lit up in chat. I don't know the specifics of it. I'm just saying that right now you're not off by a full day. So if you were off by a full day, you just want to add 1 month has, I guess, 29 days. And that's that. Yeah. So I was on 365.25 days.
This is just too much math for me.
Wow. We broke you fast.
I just don't. I see so many numbers, and I'm just like, it's 8:51 a.m.
So you look at another number because there's other numbers, and you just shut it out.
I didn't sleep very well last night.
All right, guys.
Sleep.
It's that time, guys. Let's drop your links in the chats. What have you seen? What's going on?
We got to do our
happening?
tight 60 after this. So we want to know what are the things that we should be covering that would make for an absolutely banger episode. We have, in fact, let's pull that up. Let me walk you guys through the things that we plan to cover already. And then if we've missed anything, let us know. All right. In no particular order, we've got a cute AI pet. I thought that was dope. Open AI Academy, China's energy advantage. Oh, we didn't even talk about that. The hydroelectric dam that they're planning to build is like way bigger than they already have a dam that has slowed the rotation of the earth. That's crazy. And they're going to build one that's substantively bigger, which is also crazy given how much energy it will produce. And this is an AI thing. We're going to be in an energy race. I think that is definitely interesting to cover. Autonomous flying taxis in China. This is bananas, already happening. Remote surgery. We talked about that. You wanted to talk about crypto? You had mentioned this.
Yes, this is a good clip.
All right, while you pull that up, we've also got Cory Booker's marathon speech, his filibuster, Tesla's 13% quarterly drop. Obviously, Liberation Day will be the topic that we lead with. Tariff emergency powers enacted. The White House gave a breakdown. Ray Dalio tariff breakdown. So just be going ham on that.
They're saying check the Discord for other links.
Yes, please. Oh, the admission letter thing. $80 video games. So that's what we have on our list. Oh, Time Isn't Real.
That was the calendar thing we just did.
It's always BlackRock. I don't know what that is.
That's a good one too, but it's just a conspiracy theory about BlackRock.
Well, we like conspiracy theories. I can't believe I'm getting sucked into this. I want to learn more about Graham Hancock style history. Like there are enough weird things that I'm like, I have emotionally motivated reasoning. It's way cooler to me. If like there was like an ancient civilization that got wiped out by the Younger Dryas, like that is admittedly just cooler. But yeah, all the stuff about the pyramid.
Yeah,
I want to see.
Let's go.
Like, I want to go. I want to go in on that. That sounds a lot of fun.
All right, here's the Bitcoin video I wanted to show you real quick.
All right, let's see it.
Forward to the future, and Bitcoin has failed.
I can't hear
Can
it.
I think it failed through irrelevance. Like it just
still
to be relevant.
It's super low. Dang it.
What was the question?
Value and nothing more. I don't.
I'm gonna full screen it and then.
Yes, please. All right, start it over.
Fast forward to the future, and Bitcoin has failed. How did it fail?
I I think it
Let's
fails
fast forward to the
through
future and Bitcoin has fails.
How did it fail?
Irrelevance. Like it fails to be relevant to people on a daily basis. If it just ends up being store value and nothing more, I don't think it gains relevance at all. Like I think it has to.
That's
be
such a weird take. It's already relevant as a store of value.
It's just something you kind of buy and forget and only use in emergency situations or when you want to get liquid again. So I think if it doesn't transition to payments and find that everyday use case, it just gets increasingly irrelevant.
That's so weird to me. Okay, well, it's definitely worth covering. I think he's out of his mind. Now, in fairness, she said, how does it fail? Let's fast forward to that, which, by the way, is a brilliant question. That was basically when we got into comics. I took the former CEO or president, whatever, of DC Comics out and said, why am I going to fail? And that was so much more useful than asking him, how do I make sure that I succeed? Yeah. Because he just walked me through like all the gotchas, all the pitfalls. I wish he had just started with there's no money in comics, but because of when he was in, like he didn't realize how much it had changed. But yeah, anyway, it's a brilliant question, brilliant way to frame something.
Can we look at like silver in this way? Where silver was just
of course, or gold.
Yeah,
like, maybe get the link to that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's a very weird analysis. That feels like either he's just like, well, but you asked me the question, how would it fail? So I'm giving you my best take, or it could be spin that he really wants to see it become a payment rail, and he knows that people listen to him, and so he's got to goose them. Or it could just be that he just somehow looks at the same facts that I look at and walks away with something completely different. But given that it's already relevant. And as somebody who holds a lot of it, and I don't think it makes a good payment medium. And right now, while it's volatile, it's nonsensical. Yeah. So, that doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, good to cover. Okay, what else? What else does Chad have for us? What might we be missing? In fact, let me also pull up internally.
Ford Motor Company has announced a new promotion called From America for America, offering employee pricing to all U.S. customers until June 2nd, 2025.
Ford's jumping down, doubling down on it, using it as an opportunity.
Let's go.
Sentient Peter Thiel AI thing seems like it's popping off.
Pull
that up. I don't know anything about it.
I don't know anything about that either.
Did you hear that Kai Cenat got banned on Twitch?
Oh, for what?
I thought his account got hacked.
Everything got hacked.
Ooh.
But he got banned because
of the hacked behavior.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Youch. That's rough.
Literally everything got hacked. His YouTube, his Twitch, his Discord.
Oh, that's
all
so
his socials,
rough.
Everything.
Damn.
Because
social engineering?
Someone, the person who hacked him, I think, got banned on his like Discord. So they said, you banned me, now I'm going to get you banned.
Wow.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Spicy. That's why we love our chat.
Yeah.
Peter Thiel
hackers go hard.
AI startup Sentient pitches itself more transparent than OpenAI and Perplexity. Sentient's open source search model gives brands greater control over their presence in AI search results.
That's interesting. So you can basically set your own algorithm. I think this is, if I'm understanding that correctly, I think that will be very popular. I think that's an awesome idea. I think you should be able to do that on social media. That would be incredible. And then people can go create their own algos, market them especially to parents and say, hey, here's how this algorithm works. It's going to show you these kind of things. I think that would be super powerful. It'd be terrible for revenue, but so much better for the human psyche. And so make it better for the customer. I'm here for that.
Post-capitalist utopia, right?
Well, that one I think you want to do today. Post-capitalist, that would certainly make that way less relevant. Mo's whole pitch on that, though, is basically the people that own the platforms are going to get so freakishly wealthy that basically everybody else gets left behind. That you have the world's tiniest group of 0.00001 elites. Because he was like making the pitch. He's like, Tom, you and I are not that kind of rich. Like, we're going to get just blasted and left behind. I don't think he's right about that. But I do think that it's being able to control your own algo would be awesome.
Cameron Fry says, don't just end the conversation confused. Check the chat. We're trying to explain Dorsey's interest in Bitcoin Lightning Network. So it's a self-interest promotion.
Well, let's go. What are they saying?
He's heavily involved in Lightning, which is a payment system on top of Bitcoin.
Yeah. I know about Lightning, but I'm just saying, like, you're saying he's doing it as spin. If so, yeah, I could certainly see that.
Autumn Lynn, Trump's numbers were only deficits, not tariffs. So in reality, we're not tariffing half, but many times they're tariffs. We might have been looking at a different chart, Autumn.
Trump's numbers were only deficits, not tariffs. Autumn, I think she's speaking to the whole trade barrier thing, but it wasn't like deficits. You'd have to be more clear what you mean, but I think what she's saying, actually, I think is pretty clear, which is this is the trade deficit gap, and so we're just cutting that in half. That is not as presented, but could very well be true. Jay wants to know, what about a super chat?
And I responded saying, we will respond to it once we enter the super chat segment.
Well, aren't we at this? Like, we gotta do it now or never.
Is this the super chat segment?
This is the super chat.
Yeah.
You guys said this is the links segment.
Well, that's like the end.
Yeah, we link while we super chat.
Once we get to
That's
links.
not right. No, you guys are setting me up for failure here. Nobody said.
Everybody get mad at Eunice. It's Eunice's fault. She said she doesn't want to read your super chats.
That's...
Let's go, Eunice. You were right.
Yeah, that's me right now.
I'm very glad you spoke up. Okay. Let's get to him. Let's do it.
Let's shout out to Tracy. Tracy did 2 back-to-back super chats.
Let's go, Tracy.
Hackman died weeks ago, and you still got it wrong.
Thank you, Tracy.
Who was? Help. I don't know. Somebody gave us the right breakdown, right? So is that just really old? And
that was somebody else. And she was like, he died too.
Tracy was the one that helped us out.
No, somebody else helped us out.
No, that was Gary.
Yeah, it was Gary in all caps.
Thank you, Gary Gnu.
Hey,
if anybody knows that
was an
reference.
Accident.
No, but I mean, it stood out. That made him memorable.
All right. Tracy also said, bring back manufacturing so must robots have jobs.
Yeah, Tracy, I actually do worry about that. I think that is a reasonable thing to be
Tracy's
concerned
playing
about.
5D chess right there. She sees a big picture.
Lyrith's got 2 back-to-back super chats right here too.
Yeah,
Tom,
super chat.
Andrew, in that vid, Batya also asked Cenk a question he does not ever answer. Quote, what is wrong with cutting taxes to carrot onshoring? End quote. Basically, can you find that too, please?
Okay, so I remember that part. So Cenk is saying, I did answer you. And what I believe is the following, that Trump is using the tariffs as a distraction to put forth a tax cut. And as soon as he gets the tax cut put in place, he's going to rescind the tariffs. And he's going to create this insane gap where the rich base is getting what they want, which are the tax cuts. And then the tariffs, which were a smokescreen, go away because he's going to say, hey, I've learned my lesson. These countries really don't want it, and we've got to drive prices down. Thing is, if he ends up being right, that's one, that would be very insightful. And 2, that would be horrible. So if that is how it ends up playing out, got to give Cenk his flowers. And you could sort of say that he's sidestepping the question. And I don't know that he would say the following, but it seems reasonable to say, yes, if it worked out like that, it would be great. But the reality is it's not going to work out like that. This is all a ruse. And I don't think he went that. He might have actually said something very similar to that. So anyway, when I was watching it, I was glad that she pinned him down, but did think he's just saying he doesn't think it's going to play out like that. And he's very clearly called a shot. So, and Piers did a really interesting thing, which he said, promise me you guys are all going to come back in 4 months so we can see which of the 2 of you are right. But it was a banger. It was a banger one.
Follow up from Lyrith here saying, Hamas and Houthi are proxies of Iran. Iran is a proxy of Russia. Gee, I wonder how being a Jew and pro-Israel makes you a Russian asset. Batya must
we covered that already.
Be an evil genius. No, this is a different one.
Yeah, I think the other one was continued from this one though. But
okay. Yes, we talked about this before. I've already run my string of logic. So the jump that I can't make is that Iran is a proxy of Russia. They have worked together for the reasons that I talked about earlier, being anti-American, but I don't know that it's a proxy for Russia. I have not seen that evidence.
Marcus Aurelius says, just thank you for this and your goals.
Well, thank you, Marcus, who has been around for a very long time. It is wonderful to see you. Very wonderful. And I appreciate the super chat very much.
Shout out to Marcus.
Indeed.
Alice Information says dating apps are designed for folks to fall in love with the idea of a relationship with one another first. Is any subsequent love real or idealized?
That becomes a very complex question very fast, because part of why my marriage works is that Lisa and I reinforce our idealized version of each other constantly. Whenever I see Lisa, if I think she looks beautiful or that thing you said to me today was really useful or whatever, I'm going to say it. So we remind ourselves to lean heavily into the things about the other person that we like and that we want to see more of, and to lean away from our critical things. And by constantly reinforcing this strong emotion when I see her, the emotion that I always want to feel, it has become so ingrained in my brain that when I see her, I always light up. Like legitimately, we work across from each other. And there will be times where I didn't realize that she'd come in and sat down because I was lost in something. I'll look up and I'll see her and I'll be like, I'll just get this warm feeling. And I'm like, I see this woman literally 75 times a day. And yet, multiple times a day, I'll still get that like, oh, I wasn't expecting to see you, and I see you and I feel the way I want to feel. But you have to do that very intentionally to ensure that you reinforce that. So the idealized thing is not necessarily a bad thing, but you have to get to know the person anyway. I already talked about all the deranging effects of dating apps.
Esoteric Dichotomy says, I think Drew's concern, AI and love bots, is the future. Humans are deranging themselves, not just romance. AI partners, AI children, AI friends, AI food, AI... Sorry.
That one is that one is
music.
deeper than people think. That one's deeper than people think. We should probably talk about that more when we have time.
I think so too.
I will just plant the horrible thing that people will use against me in the future, and I promise you they will. It's entirely possible that humans are a midwife for a synthetic species.
Oh, say it one more time with your chest, Tom.
Nope.
Okay.
I've talked about this many times. I'm sure I will talk about it many more.
It's echo chambers being manifested.
It's very high risk, but I think that it is almost certainly we are going to edit ourselves in the extreme, whether biologically or synthetically. Count on it. Now, some people will refuse. There will always be humans. I'll leave it at that.
Humans. Lyrith with another super chat saying, not going full blast on AI right now is like not making tanks and aircraft in World War II.
Facts.
Yeah, super facts.
Indeed. Oh, I like that. That's a good one. That is
I'm
too
funny
true.
Sometimes. Ariane Brown, thank you for your super chat. They said, good morning, Tom and crew.
Good morning.
And good morning to you too. How do you pass on costs to consumers who can't afford it? Buy now, pay later. The consumer needs money to spend. Be back into risk assets when path of liquidity clears.
Yeah. Oh, how do you pass on costs to consumers who can't afford it? You really, it won't last. Like if you do that for long, you're in trouble. The Trump administration is going to have to go way out of their way to ensure that they are not raising the cost of something where you can't just switch from one brand to another. So the whole idea, as evidence from Howard Lutnick's own mouth, is do not put tariffs on things where there is not an American alternative. Because the goal is not to create inflation where all prices go up. It's to create a position in which you want American-made goods so that companies all over the world will start manufacturing in the U.S. and that consumers feel very little pain. It's inevitable that there's going to be some. This is them talking. This is what they're trying to do. Whether they're able to do it is a very different question, but that is the goal.
I slightly push back on that. I think capitalism takes care of that because over the pandemic, orange juice went up to $8. And I used to love Tropicana orange juice. And that's my orange juice. I like to drink orange juice in the morning. I seen it went to $8. I was like, I guess I'm not drinking orange juice no more. I was in a grocery store. I seen it for $5. I was like, oh, it came down. That's cool. It's probably on sale. So I grabbed one. Then I went back the next week. It was still $5. They realized people don't want $8 orange juice. They want $5 orange juice. And now I'm buying orange juice again. So a lot of times, yes, tariffs, yes, all that. But Tropicana got it. you just have to drop your price if you want me to buy it. And I think consumers need to stop acting like, oh no, Trump is going to make me buy these. Don't buy it. Say no. We can say no.
You heard it here first. I'm with you. I'm with you, but you don't want to tariff anything that's essential, because while you don't need orange juice, you need calories. So you certainly don't want to put the calories out of reach. Anyway, we talked a lot about that.
Dan Silk, thank you for your super chat. Dan Silk says, Claude built me an awesome photo gallery app with Vue.js that I implemented on a website immediately. It took about 30 minutes with prompt tweaking.
It's incredible. Dan, I hope you're as excited as I am, despite the fact that it is a meteorite screaming towards Earth.
Alice Information says, hate to burst the AI bubble, but machine minds cannot know the capital T truth. Clocks tell time. They don't know what time it is. I explain it all in my book.
Okay. Clocks tell time, but they don't know what time it is.
That's a line.
That's a bar right there.
That is a bar.
I won't lie. They don't know what time it is. You sound fine. I don't know. Yeah.
Let's go, man. If you could have completed that, I'd be very impressed. So it's a really interesting question. Mo talked about that in our interview. I thought Mo had a really gangster idea, which is that because technology isn't sentient, it does not collapse a quantum wave function. And we will know if machines are sentient when them witnessing a quantum event does collapse the wave function. And I was like spiraling. I wanted to end the call right then and there and just go research this. That is insane. If that ends up being true, oh my God, what an incredible test. Yeah, I find myself again going, it's only consciousness? That's crazy. Okay, so anyway, can't wait for that.
Lyrith with another super chat. Lyrith saying, beautiful wife and husband right there when Lisa came in and chatted with you.
Aww.
Slams
Very
memories of my deceased wife. Tears, but happy. Hold on
God.
to each other and never let go, Tom and Lisa.
Damn. Lyrith, fuck. Now I want to believe that that's a really old photo of you and you're actually 85. Jesus. So yeah, thank you, man. It's incredibly kind. And truly every ounce of my heart goes out to you. I just can't imagine. I can't imagine. I don't want to go through that. Sounds absolutely fucking horrid.
Theo Savage says, you don't know what clocks think and feel. That just made me laugh. I'm sorry.
Sequoia Hall says, the value is in, quote, the game versus the delivery system. Content is king. The council is no more. You will each have your own, and all, quote, games will be for all systems. This is back to the video game topic about it being $80.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're living in a golden age of video games. I don't understand all the beef. All the way to like the jiggle physics thing. I don't understand. Like, go play the games that have jiggle physics if that's what you want. They still exist. So yeah, I don't know. I just respond
there are
very
so many
differently.
games out there.
So many.
It's
so
such
many.
a saturated market.
Yeah.
And I love it. JT with the 1776. Is that because we
Let's
talked
go.
Super chat.
Nice and political, JT. I'm here for it.
JT says, we need a new currency that has all the traits of gold. For example, scarcity, divisibility, transportability, amount of energy required to mine. But for the digital age,
Do we need a new currency? We need a way for people to store their wealth that doesn't inflate. That you for sure need. The dollar is stable enough that I don't know that you need a new currency, but you do need a way to eject out of a currency that can be inflated. That is for sure. But like, I'm all for stable coins that are pegged to the dollar. That doesn't seem like a big deal to me. I don't think you need Bitcoin, for instance, to also be a currency.
We have another super chat from Alice Information. Alice Information says, correction on, quote, being a good person. Love is severity and mercy applied unconditionally with infinite wisdom. How's that for a, quote, first principle?
That feels poetic. It does not feel like a first principle. Now, if you believe something along the lines of, God is a real force in the universe. That force is love, and it is foundational. At least you have a string of logic that we can track and we can try to falsify and see if it holds up to scrutiny. My gut instinct is that will not hold up to scrutiny. So that's my first principles response.
And there's like a thing about like love should be conditional. Like I've been saying that a lot more. Like unconditional love is a fallacy.
I mean, look, if you believe in God, even God has a condition, which is that you have to believe in him or accept him in your heart, whatever the New Testament.
Love your neighbors as yourself and love me more than anything else.
Yeah, that's Old Testament.
That's New Testament.
New Testament says...
Jesus says the only two commandments that matter are loving me more than anything and loving your neighbor as you love yourself.
Well, conditions nonetheless. There you have it.
Conditions nonetheless.
So, yeah, do I believe in unconditional love? Not really. I haven't thought enough about it to go ham on the point, but yeah.
Do you believe in unconditional love? Not really.
Humans don't do unconditional love. I'll just tell you that right now.
I'll give you that.
So the only thing you could do is say that it's God.
Yeah.
But like, if you're coming at me with that unconditional love and Kanye says he loves Hitler, where we at then? No? Too soon?
Drew's pushing the mic away.
Drew's like, I've already done my bit
we're
there.
moving on to a different super chat.
Let's go.
Jethro says, I am reading
Eric's heavy
Principles
on
by
that
Ray
button.
Dalio from your book list. It is one of the best books ever.
So
I'm
It's
starting
amazing.
to write my principles down.
So good.
It is amazing. That is for sure.
G. Paul says, look up the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act of 1930. What do you think?
It's great. Let's look it up. Can you Slack me that?
That is the tariff of 1930s.
Can't wait to learn more. Thank you, G. Paul.
Tim Van Lee says, if you could spend a few weeks abroad to gain a new perspective and get to know another society or culture better, where would you go? One country per continent: Central South America, Africa, Europe, Asia.
I mean, right now, the place that I would most want to go would be China. They're going to matter so much in the coming decade that really having a firsthand account would be awesome. I wouldn't, barring something very important, I would not go to China at this point. I've popped off at the mouth way too much about us being in a Cold War, potential kinetic war. That does not feel like the right place for me to go hang out. Probably just me being paranoid, but I'll stick with my paranoia.
And that concludes our super chat
All right.
segment. There are no more
Okay,
super
that's
chats.
probably
Thank
good
you,
because
everybody, for your super chats.
we got to get to this episode. Have we pulled everything from chat in terms of recommendations and things to cover?
Yeah. Last call, guys. If not, we have the Discord link in the YouTube description and also on the Twitch. Grab it from there. Yeah, that's all I got.
Oh,
I love it.
we got one more from Lyrith that just
All
popped
right.
in
If any more come after this, we'll have to save it for the next episode because we got to do our tight 60 here. Balira says, my photo is current, and yes, I'm still handsome at 35. Fret not. Almost 6 years have passed, and our daughter, oh God, our daughter, she gifted to me, gives me purpose and strength. I thrive and grow. Man, Lyrith, shout out. So much love to you and your daughter. Amazing. You're obviously upbeat and you have a wonderful attitude. Long may that continue, man. That is incredible. You have carried a burden I hope to never, ever have to carry, but I certainly respect that you've done it and stayed positive. It is amazing. All right.
Awesome. We got
Everybody, thank you guys very much as always. This is incredible. We appreciate you being a part of the community. It means a lot. If you would, tell a friend. That would help us grow. YouTube does not share lives outside of the community in any meaningful way. And so the only way that we're going to reach them is the tight 60, which we'll keep doing, and you guys telling other people. So tell somebody about it. All right, everybody. Until next time, my friends, be legendary. Take care. Peace.